800-509-6681. That's 800-509-6681. Again, 800-509-6681.
FarmSafe 811 reminds you to never assume location or depth of underground pipelines and utilities. Always contact 811. Learn more at farmsafe811.org.
November 12th at 10 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNplus.com/PPV. You can't miss a moment with Greeny.
Christian McCaffrey is going to be the MVP of the second half of the season. He won't win the MVP award. And the one concern with McCaffrey is he has proven to be injury prone. And so you're just worried that he's going to get hurt because the usage could be very high. But he can do everything. He just makes that offense look unstoppable. I believe he makes the 49ers the biggest threat to the unbeaten Eagles in the NFC.
Greeny, weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, happy Monday, happy Halloween, and happy Browns over Bengals Day, everybody. Welcome in. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Mr. Kev Nash, happy Monday, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. What up, though?
You got to bring your camera down just a tad so people could see that you actually are following the rules with it. I think I'm going to break out the Halloween costume coming up here after this segment.
Uh-oh.
Been working on something. I was using a marker a little bit ago and realized how much trouble like this could lead to. So I'm just going to preface. I'm just adding facial hair just so we're all on the same page when we get to this point. I don't want to be canceled heading in to the week.
Canceled on a Monday.
I was testing out to see how this was going to look earlier today, and a coworker walked in as I have a black marker, on my face. And I'm like, I swear to goodness, this is facial hair. Like, let's just all be on the same page. Like, I didn't. Then I saw our HR director a little bit ago, and I'm like waiting for her to stop in. I'm like, okay, good. That wasn't about me. It's facial. I swear.
I just had a meeting with her, so you better watch out.
Well played. We'll see. But that's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. I hope everybody had a great weekend. It was a very weird weekend because the Browns or the Bengals didn't play. And like, if the Browns or Bengals didn't exist, I don't know how much I would enjoy the NFL. I loved the games yesterday. I watched a lot of the games yesterday, but none of them struck an emotional chord with me, quite like the two teams that are playing tonight will do. Can't wait. Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football. Everybody in the State's going to be watching. I'm very curious. Game 3 of the World Series is tonight. What do you think the rating will be on the World Series in the state of Ohio tonight?
I don't know.
Is anybody going to watch?
I would love to know what the World Series is getting numbers-wise right now. I don't think it's bad. By the way, Dusty Baker hasn't lost in the playoffs all season. He loses the other night, and everyone right away, back to his old tricks, back to his old tricks.
They were up 5-0.
Yeah, but that was the problem. Is Dusty's been letting, Reds fans had PTSD watching Dusty Baker let whether it be a lead or a series slip out of his hands, but nonetheless. So where are the Reds right now? Oh, yeah, that's right.
I mean, you bring up a great point about wondering what the rating is going to be for the World Series. I mean, game 1 of the World Series was on a Friday night of Halloween.
Yep.
Didn't watch it. Didn't watch any of it. Then game 2 was on a Saturday, a college football Saturday. Had no idea who won until the next morning. And now we get game 3, the most pivotal game because it's 1-1 on Monday Night Football with the Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, Philly, of course, in the World Series, they kind of got that home field back, so we'll see what they do coming up later on tonight. College football, we'll get to that around the corner as well. Dan Mullen got Buckeye fans all fired up as he released what his poll would look like. And he actually kudos to him on his poll. He's given love to a team that is undefeated, that's not getting any attention, and actually TCU talking about I forgot they do have 4 top 25 wins. If we're going to talk about the 4 top 25 wins for Tennessee and why we should prop them up, or at least that's what I'm not following my own advice because I'm ignoring everything that TCU has done. They just don't have that sexy win to complement the round of, but we'll get into all that coming up. I'm around the corner, but Kev, we haven't done this game in a while. Of course, it's Kev Nash always, he always likes to bring us the over unders. So Kev Nash brings us over under here today, and it's going to be all Halloween Bengals Browns edition here on the show, Kev. So we are off and rolling. Over under here as we kick off the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash tonight. Monday Night Football, the Browns, the Bengals. The Browns desperately need a win or their season comes to an end tonight. And the Cincinnati Bengals, of course, they need to get a win just to kind of make sure that they don't let any kind of mental mistakes really start to hinder them as they kind of move forward for the next month and a half without Jamar Chase. So we are off and rolling. Browns, Bengals, Monday Night Football. Kev Nash brings us over under. Let's hit the ground running.
All right, number one, the most carries that Nick Chubb has had in a regular season game this season is 23, way back when they played my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers in week 3. So over under 23 and a half carries tonight for one Nick Chubb.
For what? I mean, look, I'm going to say under. I'm going to say under because I feel like in Cincinnati is one of these teams. Cincinnati comes out firing every time. They come out. They've done this all season, at least over this last stretch where they've really come out firing. I think the Bengals are going to come out, and I think they're going to jump on the board kind of early. And I think that's going to kind of take the Browns out of their comfort zone. If the Browns have a chance at winning tonight, they have to stifle the Bengals offense. They have to kind of put some doubt in Joe Burrow's head. Joe Burrow's a very confident individual. There's not a lot of doubt in that dude's head. But the Browns need to make sure that they get in his head in early. They need to get to him. They need to put some, they need to hit him. They need to make sure that he's not comfortable in that pocket. And they need to start to make this Bengals team wonder, like, maybe we aren't as good without Jamar Chase. They are going to be good without him, but how good is going to be the question. The Browns need to take advantage of that self-doubt. So with that being said, though, if they don't do that and the Bengals jump out early, like I think that they will, I think they're going to get back into their old habits of trying to rely on the arm of Jacoby Brissett, which cannot happen. I'm going to say under. I still think he has a big game tonight, Kev, but I don't see them being patient on Monday Night Football against a pass-heavy offense trying to keep up with them. But if they take the lead and they're working the clock and they control tempo, which they should at home, I would take the over. But I'm going to say under, Kev. I don't think he gets over 23 and a half carries tonight. What say you?
I'm going to go under as well. I'm going to go around 20 carries. Like we talked about last week on the show with the Cincinnati Bengals, this is a passing league. Like it, love it, hate it, or whatever. It is a passing league. So even though the Browns have a good running game, obviously with Nick Chubb and that offensive line, I still think they get pass happy just like every other team in the NFL because it is a passing league. And I think that only the days of a running back getting 35 carries like Emmitt Smith used to are long gone. So I'm going to go with the under.
All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Over under. Bengals Browns Monday Night Football edition, the first one. And by the way, if you chime in the comment section, we'll read some of your responses. Over under 23 and a half carries tonight for one of the top running backs in the NFL and Nick Chubb. The Browns have had a habit of not continuously feeding the best running back in the NFL or second. I think Derrick Henry is still the best. But point is, the big criticism of Stefanski is that he continues to not utilize the one strength that they have. It's not just that they have one of the best running backs in the league. It's that they have the best offensive line. And you have a backup quarterback. And that's the thing that's frustrating is you should not be dropping back Jacoby to throw as much as what they do. I understand that frustration. So I'm going to go with the under, though, because nothing has forced Stefanski to change 7 weeks into the season. I don't think he's automatically going to figure it out now. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going to say the under. So 23 and a half carries for Nick Chubb, over under. Your thoughts in the comment section. We're live on ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel and the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. Kev, Number two,
the Cincinnati Bengals have yet to give up a touchdown in the second half this season. So over or under 0.5 touchdowns for the Cleveland Browns in the second half tonight.
I've already said it. I got to stay consistent. I think the Browns get 2 touchdowns in the second half. I think that comes to an end. Look, let's be fair here. Outside of the Ravens, who have the Bengals faced that is of any quality here in the first half? I mean, you go all the way back to week 2 again with Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. I know the Cowboys now are a good football team, but let's be clear at that time that we don't know anything about Cooper Rush. The Bengals know nothing about Cooper Rush. Yes, they relied on the run game, but that had more to do with the Bengals also just playing really poorly at the same time. Like the Bengals beat themselves in weeks 1 and 2. Outside of the Dolphins for one half, they haven't really faced any real team. I'm not saying the Browns are the elite of the elite, but they have something that this is going to be the strongest offense that they've played, at least as far as the ability to run the football. And I just don't think it's, you stopped Marcus Mariota in the second half. Kudos. You stopped Andy Dalton with no weapons in the second half. Kudos. Lamar Jackson has not been Lamar Jackson this year. You stopped him. Kudos. Backup quarterback for the Dolphins. It's the freaking Jets, the Cowboys, and the Steelers. I'm not impressed with what they've done, keeping it, no touchdowns in the second half. That's fantastic. The Browns get 2 here tonight.
I'm going to go with the over as well. I say the Browns get 1 touchdown in the second half. So I'm going to go with the over. I mean, at some point that streak is going to come to an end. Why not it be tonight on Monday Night Football?
Live on Facebook, live on YouTube, the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Head there now and jump in the comment section. Over or under is what we're playing now. Kev, on to number 3.
Number 3, Joseph Lee Burrow has thrown a total of 5 interceptions this season, but only 1 since his 4 interception performance versus my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1. So over or under 1.5 interceptions thrown by Joseph Lee Burrow tonight versus the Cleveland Browns.
I so badly wanted to say over just to be my typical troll self, but the bottom line is I thought I saw a stat the other day that out of Joe Burrow's interceptions since, after his rookie season, I thought I saw like 80% of the interceptions he has thrown has been throwing to Jamar Chase. So a lot of those are forcing the ball to Jamar Chase. And that's not a bad. They get the ball to your number 1 playmaker. I actually think Joe Burrow, as weird as this sounds, I'm not saying they're not better without Jamar Chase. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I'm not saying Joe Burrow's better without Jamar Chase, because that's also the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But I also think Joe Burrow is more patient in the pocket, and I don't think he's going to force anything. I think a lot of his interceptions come trying to force the ball to Jamar Chase, not like Baker trying to force it to OBJ. That's not what I'm comparing that to. I'm just saying 80% of the touchdowns he has thrown since Jamar Chase has come into the league, 80% of his picks have come throwing to him. So I think now Joe Burrow's going to relax. I don't think he's going to force anything to any receiver. I think he's going to, the first open guy he sees is who's he's going to get that ball to. I'm going to take the under. Joe, you don't go throwing 4 picks in week 1 to 1 in 6 weeks without having, enough discipline to be able to let the game slow down and come to him. Can't stand Joe Burrow, but I know the dude could play, and I don't think he's going to turn it over more than once tonight. So I'm going to say the under.
I'm going to go with the under as well. I'm going to go with 1. I say that 1 greedy gets 1. Greedy gets 1. Somebody tips it and Greedy finally gets an interception in the NFL. Has Greedy got an interception in the NFL? I think the last interception I saw him give was back in his LSU days. So I say Joe Burrow throws 1 interception tonight. So I'm gonna go with the under.
All right. Going through these. We'll get to some of the reactions in the comment section here in a moment, Kev. But on to number 4.
Running back Joe Mixon has yet to rush for 100 yards in a game this season. Wow, that's pretty alarming. But tonight, going up against that Browns defense, who was giving up rushing yards left and right, and they'll be without star receiver Jamar Chase. Over or under 99.5 rushing yards for Joe Mixon on the ground tonight.
This is a tough one. I don't know how much different the offense is going to look for the Bengals minus Jamar Chase. And what I mean by that is I just mean the way that they run the offense. As we talked about last week, I said I thought that the Bengals fans sounded a little foolish saying that Zach Taylor's the problem. They need to run the ball more. Joe Mixon, he's not running the ball effectively this year because he's just not getting enough carries. I couldn't believe how many times I saw that posted last week. Well, as we talked about, Joe Mixon has the 4th most carries of any running back in the National Football League. Derrick Henry, has more carries, of course. Saquon Barkley has more carries, and Nick Chubb. Those are the only 3 running backs that have more carries than Joe Mixon. So stop resorting to the lazy, Zach Taylor doesn't know what he's doing thing. I think Joe Mixon has regressed. So I don't care if they could hand the ball off a lot to him tonight. I don't know how much that's going to matter. I'm going to say under. I think Joe Mixon has lost a step. I don't think it's the play calling. I definitely don't think it's the offensive line. Joe Mixon put up fantastic numbers behind some of the worst offensive lines in Bengals history. And yet now that they're improved, we're going to sit here and say it's the O-line that stopped the run block and all this. I say the under, Cap. I think he's regressed. I don't think he's horrible. I think he shows bits and here and there of explosiveness. Especially, I think they might get him more going in the passing game like we've seen. But I think he's lost a step. So I'm going to say under. I don't think he gets over 100 yards tonight. I'll say the under.
I'm gonna go with the under as well. They just haven't been able to run the ball well. If it's Joe Mixon back there, if it's Chris Evans back there, if it's Shamaji Perine back there, they haven't been a good running team this year. So I'm going to go with the under. Everything they've showed us is that they're not a good running team yet this year. So I'm going to go with the under.
Moses McCown on YouTube, when it comes to, of course, talking about the over-under for Joe Mixon, he says the under. So Moses McCown. I don't think I've seen Moses in the comment section before, so shout out to Moses for
welcome
in with us. Yes, welcome. We're a nice bunch, or at least I'm not. Kevin is, but I'm not. Shaw says under rushing yards, way under. All right. Brian McCoy says Mixon under. Chad Kinser says under. Mixon has lost a step. Matt Sturgeon, he says Mixon has lost a step. I would like to see them mix in more with Chris Evans. So we'll see what happens. A lot of people taking the under on the 99.5 yards tonight.
That means he's going over.
That means he's going over. What I meant by, like, I don't think Zach Taylor's going to have a different game plan because there's no Jamar Chase. I just think you might see a little bit more of a balance. But it's up to Joe Mixon to maximize the opportunities he's given. I mean, we're at the halfway point of the season after tonight, so he needs to figure it out, because I don't think it's Zach Taylor. I don't think it's the offensive line. He needs to maximize those carries. We're at the point now. We're way past the point of, we're trying to get eased into the season. Now it's halfway point. You are who you are at this point. Figure it out. 100%. Next up, Kev, to close it out.
Browns wide receiver Amari Cooper has yet to have a multi-touchdown game this season. He has a total of 4 touchdowns this year receiving, but no multi-touchdown games. So over under 1.5 TDs tonight for one Amari Cooper.
The Browns are going to need him to have a multi-touchdown night tonight. I think, look, the Browns, I don't care what anybody says, you are not going to win one-dimensional against the Bengals tonight. It has to be a 2-touchdown performance through the air and a 2-touchdown performance on the ground. If the Browns don't have 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns tonight, they will not win this football game. I think they score at least 28 tonight. I'm not being a homer here. It's the reality of what it is, Kev. I think you need a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown in both halves to beat the Cincinnati Bengals tonight. And I think it has to happen with Amari Cooper. There is no David Njoku tonight. So David Njoku, who's actually been a guy that we've seen Jacoby Brissett get real comfortable with, especially against the Ravens. I've said this before. I actually thought the Ravens game, funny as it sounds, was actually probably the most well-played game we've seen from the Browns as far as well-rounded. I loved what I saw from them defensively. I loved the way they ran the football. Jacoby Brissett didn't make that big play. I actually thought he made some nice plays down the stretch connecting with Amari Cooper. We'll see if he takes some of that confidence with them into this game here tonight. So
So what was your pick? I don't think we ever got a pick out of you.
I'm gonna say under. I don't trust this pass game. They're not gonna make mistakes quarters 1 through 3, but they always seem to make it in that dang fourth quarter. It stresses me out. But I'm gonna say the under. I just don't think Amari Cooper is gonna have more than 1 sniper. I do think he gets 1. I think he gets at least 1, but I'm gonna take the under.
I'm gonna go with the under as well, and mainly because David Njoku isn't there. David Njoku has been having a very good season. He got the big contract in off season, and everybody was questioning why he got that big contract, and he started to play like he earned that contract, and that allowed Amari Cooper to play one-on-one. And now that he's not there in the middle of the field to take those safeties and those linebackers away from Amari Cooper on those slant routes and the safeties away on the deep shots, I'm going to say that they roll the coverage towards Amari Cooper, and he is under. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say Amari Cooper does not have a touchdown catch at all tonight.
All right, and that was Monday Night Football, Browns-Bengals edition of Over Under. Kev Nash brings us over under here this afternoon. All right, I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. If you want to jump in on the conversation, you could do so live, of course, on the Facebook feed or on the YouTube channel, ESPN Dayton on YouTube, the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. That's where you can, of course, have your opinion, at least be a part of the show. But if you want to call in, give us a call, 518-1410. Thoughts ahead of tonight's Monday Night Football game between the Browns and the Bengals. We'll, of course, have more for that matchup coming up. Former Cincinnati Bengals MVP quarterback Ken Anderson is going to join us about 45 minutes from now. Excited to catch up with the former Bengals great and, of course, talk about what it means to have a Browns and Bengals game on Monday Night Football and 2 teams that are actually playing for something. I know the Browns record is not indicating that, but we at least know that the Browns and Bengals are back and at least continuing to contend for playoffs and AFC titles and all that fun stuff year in and year out. So we'll talk about what that means with Ken Anderson coming up at the top of the hour. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash when we come back.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The mid-afternoon and early evening will be cloudy with a chance of rain, a high near 68. Tonight's going to be cloudy with rain, a low near 55. And tomorrow's going to be mostly cloudy, a high near 68. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. When you need to talk Medicare, Walgreens is here. Start shopping today at walgreens.com/Medicare.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When you download the Home Depot app, taking on big or small projects starts with a tap. It's your pocket-sized toolbox for getting more done. Image search helps you find what you need with a snap. Store mode pinpoints exactly where to go to get what you want while you're at our store. Or just tap to arrange for easy curbside pickup, all from the palm of your hand. It's the app that's made for doing. The Home Depot app. How doers get more done.
You can't get much for $5 these days, unless you go to Wendy's for a $5 Biggie Bag. Get your choice of double stack, junior bacon cheeseburger, or crispy chicken BLT, plus 4-piece nugs, fries, and a drink, all for just $5. That was smooth, wasn't it? That's how you're going to feel when you get that Biggie Bag at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes 4-piece nuggets, small soft drink, and small fry. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
The Ohio Education Association congratulates Amanda Hoffman, a reading intervention specialist in Springboro Schools, this week's Education Champion.
Good job. What I find rewarding is when the students are successful. Awesome job. When they are very successful, I'm usually jumping up, very excited, and it makes all the difference because then you see a big smile on their face when you get so excited about it. A-N-D-N. Good job.
Hi, I'm Coach Jim Place, and I'm proud to support Tony.
Only ESPN can give you ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Castrol Edge can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $38.99. Get everything you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Like bones, your teeth lose density and become weaker over time.
which can lead to tooth decay. And that can make your visit to the dentist feel like this. But if you want your dental visit to feel like this, try Crest Densify. Crest Densify actively rebuilds tooth density to extend the life of teeth by remineralizing enamel. Densify from Crest, the #1 toothpaste brand in America. Smile, Crest has you covered.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Chris Cuomo joins News Nation. Cuomo, now weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern on News Nation. Go to newsnationnow.com to find your channel.
Fall into a new career. KTH Parts Industries has immediate openings, second shift production associates, and equipment technicians. Material handling experience is a plus. This is an excellent new opportunity that offers an attractive benefit package, medical, dental, 401k, attendance bonus, and a competitive wage, starting at $19.75 per hour with annual increases. KTH is hosting open interviews Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. through 3 p.m. Visit kth.net. KTH is an equal opportunity employer.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash, hanging out with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Also hanging out with you here on Halloween.
Where's your costume?
I'm going to go get I'll do the costume here shortly. The costume's coming around the corner, I promise. Okay. I'm going to try to pull off the Ryan Day look.
Oh.
That's where the facial hair thing was coming into play a little bit ago.
I
still will never forget the look of the coworker that walked in as I'm coloring my face with the black marker. And I'm like, I'm just filling it. Like, so just to be clear, for you cancel people out there, like, so Ryan Day has his facial hair that goes all the way up to the lip, the bottom lip. So I was filling it in with the marker. I just wanted to see if the marker was dark enough for how silly it would look. But that doesn't matter when someone walks in and you're coloring your face with a black marker and you're as white as I am. That just is not a good look. So I had to explain as I'm wiping it off. I promise you, it was just for the facial hair. Like, we'll see. We'll see. If I do it again, am I in trouble again?
Probably.
But it's just facial hair.
I will say this. You missed a party on Friday night. Hooper had a Halloween party, and it was a festivity.
I'm impressed with Hooper's because Hooper had just a full, healthy,
man
awesome beard, lumberjack beard.
Yeah.
And he went the full mile for his Halloween party. He went babyface just to, what was
He was Bob from Bob's Burgers.
So long, healthy beard. He went babyface, kept the mustache, colored his hair, permanently colored his hair. Like, that's, I'm filling my face in.
It's called commitment.
Yeah, I'm risking getting canceled just to put facial hair on my face for this costume. Was it Jimmy Kimmel? Who was it? That guy?
Yes.
I'm not going full on Jimmy Kimmel here, but holy moly, man.
So
I kudos to him for having you put on a Superman onesie.
Yes. So I go to his house for the party, and it's kind of customary to bring something with you when you go to a Halloween party, and also introduce yourself to everybody that's there, people that you don't know. Introduce yourself, but also greet the host because, hey man, I'm here to have a good time. Let's do this. So I'm walking through this man's house. Note, I've never been to Hooper's house before, so I'm walking through, introduce myself to folks, go in the basement, walk past him, not even knowing who he was because obviously I'm so used to seeing Hooper with a full beard, and then it dawns on me like, wait, that's Hooper. You're Hooper.
What up, Hoop?
And I was confused from his costume. I'm not sure if you ever met his dad before, but Hooper already looks just like his dad. But without his beard, I thought that he was his dad for Halloween.
He was.
I couldn't stop laughing, dude. It was awesome.
All right, but nonetheless, I will. Yes, I'll break out the Ryan Day attire coming up here around the corner to make sure I'm feeling. So everyone loves when Kinner is wrong, and I show up to work, and usually Kev's in a horrible mood on a Monday, Tuesday, and other day that ends in Y, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I just hear him just laughing. He's in there just working hard. I mean, my goodness, not even a, hey, how was your weekend? None of that. He's, hey, I got something for the show today. So, yes, we do our upset pick. I'm about to just get rid of the upset pick.
No.
Yes. Or I'm going to tweak it and say, hey, by the way, we're not saying that these are going to happen. Just upset alerts. So from now on, it is no longer, here's the upsets I'm picking because I am 0 for a lot. And apparently you have to like get some of these right to be credible in the eyes of some. And I don't really offer a whole lot to be credible. So this is my one shot. So from now on, these are just upset alerts. These are the teams that could be upset. Yeah, whatever. Kev Nash worked hard on this. Not that one. Let's try one more. Kev Nash worked hard on this. All right. For me, my 2 NFL upsets, this is the biggest one. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers over the Bills. I think Justin Fields and the Bears are confident. They just beat Bill Belichick and the Patriots on Thursday Night Football. I think they get the upset over the Dallas Cowboys. College, Michigan State over Michigan. My other upset, the Big 12, TCU loses to West Virginia at West Virginia. All right. I'm 0 for 4. I'm 0 for 4. And if you add the week before that, I'm 0 for there. I don't know. Have I gotten any of my upsets right this season? I'm about to get – no, tonight someone said, I'm surprised you didn't pick the Browns to upset the Bengals as your upset. I said, no, when the Browns win tonight, it's not an upset. I don't think a team that has only 2 wins going up against a team that only has 4 wins, I don't think that's a upset alert. Like the Packers beating the Bills, now that's an upset.
You really put it out there.
Yes.
That was a 27-17, and the Cowboys won 49-29.
Shaw's happy. He put the bell with Kenner 0 for 4. Shaw, Kevin and I, we talk about toughness a lot, but I don't think Ohio State's team's ever been beat up twice in their own locker room. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
I'm just saying. You want to bring up my 0 for 5. I'm just saying Ohio State's never been beat up twice in their own locker room. Just throwing that out there.
What do you think about that tunnel fight situation?
To be fair, I'm making a joke about something that probably could be very serious. I have no clue. I didn't get to watch many of the games over the weekend. My sister got married. Shout out to Gabe and Hannah, by the way. And congratulations. But I do know of the little tiff, if you will, and it's not just a little tiff. I mean, it looked like an all-out attack happening in the little tunnel that leads to both. Which, by the way, it's 2022, and everything should be about preventative measures. Why? And I don't care that it's always been this way. Why we still have teams that use the same exit tunnels for anything in today's day and age is just beyond me. I think it's silly to do the handshake lines anymore because we should be able to trust even in high school that kids can shake hands after a game and it not turn into an all-out brawl. We should be able to count on 18, 19, 20, 22-year-olds to all exit left together and not get in a – but why do it? It's a very physical it's a very physical sport. It's a very high-intensity sport. I'm not defending the Michigan State whatsoever, but at the same time, like there should just be measures put in place to keep some of these things from happening. Because, yes, after a big rivalry, by the way, if Ohio State and Michigan had to exit out of the same tunnel every single time, that would be a problem too. And I know that happens when they're in Michigan and stuff, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't happen a lot. So that's why Michigan State, shame on you. But at the same time, why? Why are we still doing this? Like measures could be put in place to prevent this from happening. They shouldn't be shocked. I'm shocked it doesn't happen more. I guess that's where I'm at with that. I know you probably want to get your take on this. I'm curious your thoughts because you watched it, I'm sure. From what you saw, because I was listening to Harbaugh's very sanctimonious take on this. Prison time, the electric chair, dry sponge. I mean, we just want all out capital punishment for these kids. Your thoughts?
People are so hypocritical, and you are normally the hypocritical police on this show, but I'll say it like this. We love, and also the media and whoever's showing the game, be it ESPN or be it Fox, they love to show them barking at each other, them being Ohio State and Michigan or Michigan and Sparty. They egg it on. They got the cameras right there. This happened in the pregame between the teams, and they're ready to get after it. It's going to be a brawl out here today. If it's going to be a brawl out here on the field, the chances of it being a brawl afterwards are high as well. Look, I'm not condoning anything that the Sparty guys did. They jumped 2 dudes. The game's over. If that had happened on the field, I probably would feel totally different about it. I'd be like, whatever, it's football. But you jump 2 dudes after the game. Not cool. And whatever Sparty does, If it's suspension, if it's kicking dudes off the team, I really can't say anything else besides that. Like, probably just. But, and it's a huge but, just like I say with Ohio Stadium, we got to chill with the troughs. We got to chill with the one way in and one way out. You're getting $80 to $100 million a year. Fix it. Get another exit point. You're getting $100 million from your TV contract coming up from CBS. There's a lot of engineers out there. That's supposed to be a real big time school. I'm sure they have a great engineering program. Make that their graduating project. Make them build another exit. Don't tell me it can't happen, because it can.
Or some self-defense classes.
Exactly. So fix it. Just fix it, dude. Make another tunnel so this type of stuff doesn't happen. You know why other arenas don't have it? Because they're modern places. And I understand the lore of college football, yo. You got these old cathedrals, and it's been the same way since yesteryear. Well, in yesteryear, they didn't have 100,000 people in there. When they wanted 100,000 people in there, they made it bigger and they fixed it. So you can fix this. You can build another tunnel for the visiting team to exit through, instead of you guys going into the same tunnel, because it's not yesteryear where everybody can go out, handshake, and have a beer afterwards. These teams hate each other, right? They're playing for Paul Bunyan's ex, right? This is a hated rivalry, right? So why on earth would they go through the same tunnel after a game like that? So stop it with the troughs at Ohio Stadium, and stop it with the one exit at the big house.
Now Shaw has a way to fix it. You ready for this? Like, are you? I'm just gonna make sure we ready. You ready for this? You know how you fix the problems? He says, "No, don't fix it. You fix the human beings."
Hey, man. Nah, you getting $80 to $100 million a year. Fix it.
And by the way, those kids that did that.
That's wrong.
But
yeah, ain't nobody saying that what they did was right. It's just, like you said, preventative measures, and you're getting $80 to $100 million. You got engineer students at that school, have them fix it. Period.
So there's only one tunnel. So we know this. This has happened. It's happened twice this season already.
Yeah.
So,
and this isn't the first time. This has happened with Ohio State been in there too.
Harbaugh's come out and said jail time. Apologies aren't enough. Harbaugh has spoken, and he knows all. He's very political now, and now he really does want to be the judge, jury, and executioner for a lot of things, including this. Like right here, he's no apologies. So Judge Harbaugh says jail time, Kev. Jail time. Is that a little extreme here?
A little extreme. Suspension, maybe and possibly being kicked off the Michigan State football team, but jail time. I mean, I think that may be a far stretch.
Like, we've seen that the law always. Look, I'm not saying we're talking about something that I don't want to get all too extreme here. Point is, weird stuff happens out on the football field.
Yeah.
In a very physical sport. It's a blood sport. I mean, we've just all been conditioned to we don't realize the extremeness of what's actually happening. I really don't think we understand what we're actually watching. Even watching high school kids go out and literally just try to demolish one another. I don't care if there's proper techniques involved of how to literally physically hit someone as hard as you can. Let's just stop with that. Point is to play a sport like that, you have to up it up a notch. You have to have some kind of extremism. You have to have some kind of intensity that allows you to be able to move forward to playing that way. That intensity does not switch off just because the clock hits zero.
Right.
It is not right or wrong. I think that, yes, they should be held accountable as far as being able to act like adults, but it's easy for us to say, as we are all sitting here calmly in our desk jobs, our chair jobs, hey, afterwards, just go to your respective locker rooms, maybe hold hands, sing some Kumbaya, maybe sing a little George Strait on the way back to the locker room. No, it doesn't work that way. It's like I said, now Shaw's point is, it's been this way for years, over 100. I get that. But the point is in today's day and age, with all the money that's on the line, with everything that's happening, because of your stubbornness and not wanting to add a second tunnel to a locker room, you are always going to risk this happening, especially as these games intensify and become bigger and bigger. More is on the line every year. I'm just saying, I'm not a big fan of the idea of these kids need to be in jail. Lock them up, no way to key. Stop it with that.
Yeah, you can't. You're not going to hold 85 scholarship players back on both sides with a yellow rope. It's just not. You got a yellow rope there. What is that going to do? And a bunch of security guards that are over 65 years old.
Now, the guys that are in favor of don't blame Michigan, we're not really blaming Michigan.
No.
We're saying, yes, like they were held accountable. They should be held. They are held accountable. They got kicked off the team. Like, they're held accountable.
Not Michigan. The players don't have anything to do with this outside of them getting jumped. They are the victims here, absolutely. But the university and the football program for having this one tunnel just because it's been like this since the Stone Ages, it just doesn't compute. It just doesn't. It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen because more and more we play this game and more intensifies. And when your program is good and you beat Michigan State and they're salty that they lost and they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing, obviously, tempers are going to flare.
We talked about that. And by the way, where was all this whenever Juwan Howard was open hand slapping people in the basketball game last year against Wisconsin? I mean, right? Like, look, this stuff. And by the way, coaches at the same time, I thought it was a worse look for a coach to be slapping the other head coach. Like, come on, you're supposed to lead the example. I understand why 18, 19, 20-year-old dudes like, a little on the far end. But bottom line is Brad Mays says, dumb stadium, place stinks.
Breaking news.
I know, the Ravens. We'll get to that in a moment real quick. So the only people that seem to have a problem with this, Kev, are Michigan fans. They're upset because their team got jumped in the tunnel. That's the only reason they're upset. Like, is there any other fans that are as outraged by this as Michigan fans? And to be fair, if that was our stadium and it was the Buckeyes getting jumped, I'm sure we would have, more emotional reaction to it. I just don't think we're cold-hearted by any means, but we've already said, hey, that's wrong. They got kicked off the team. Harbaugh wants jail time. Apologies aren't enough. But my favorite is David Shaw says, no, rules that are out in place were broken. Hold to the rules that are already in place.
Rules
are the rules. Yeehaw. Rules are the rules.
Rules are the rules.
Rules are the rules. I don't look. Just that's twice you've got punked in your own stadium. Twice. But in all seriousness, those guys are held accountable. What else do you want us to say? Dry sponge, wet sponge. I mean, the electric chair for these dudes. What? Like, what do you want us to say? I don't know what else there is to say about this. Like, I mean, everyone's just, oh, come on. That's not funny, Kinner. You're being. Ooh, that's a little. This is not a joking matter. What's not a joking matter? We watched Michigan and Michigan State hit the hell out of each other for 3.5 hours, and now you want me to be appalled that they hit each other in the locker room? I mean, yes, get it together, but I don't know what else you want me to say.
What should happen? What's a fair punishment? I mean, they've been suspended indefinitely.
That,
like, I'm not asking you. I'm asking Shaw. Like, what do you want? Do you want jail time?
Yeah, Shaw. So what do you say? If Keith Tolliver as well? I'm just curious, you guys. Like, what's the proper punishment? What's the proper punishment? I'm just curious.
The fullest extent of the law.
So Keith Tolliver says, I think the punishment is fair. Okay. Randy Scott Jr., he goes, the dude from Michigan was in the wrong. He found out what happens when you are all outnumbered.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
I don't
He got jumped, man. He got jumped. Not cool. My biggest question, where are your teammates, bro?
Who needs enemies when you got friends like that?
Goodness gracious.
Big trade out of the AFC, a big trade in the NFL. We talked about, the Bengals are trying to adapt for losing a big star. The Ravens just added a big star, but was it on the right side of the ball? We'll talk about that next.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain like Heather?
So I have terrible arthritis and have had it for quite a while. And I've gone to all kinds of doctors trying to figure out what to do. And everybody just said surgery. And surgery was months of rehab. And I didn't want to do that.
But then Heather discovered QC Kinetics, local medical professionals who specialize in natural biologic treatments, non-invasive solutions designed to repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. And she absolutely loves the results.
I like to tell anybody who's suffering that there are options that are not steroids, that are not surgery. You owe it to yourself to find out about QC Kinetics and find out what they can do for you.
No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Discover QC Kinetics and learn more about natural biologic treatments with lasting results.
Call QC Kinetics 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics. 937-936-0325.
Do you enjoy sports betting and fantasy sports? If so, it's important to know that gambling's not a way to pay bills or earn income. Learn how to set limits and recognize the warning signs for problem gambling by visiting beforeyoubet.org. You can also assess your risk by taking the responsible gambling quiz. Beforeyoubet.org provides free resources to help keep gambling safe and fun for Ohioans. Be a fan with a plan this season and go to beforeyoubet.org to learn more.
Fall into a new career. KTH Parts Industries has immediate openings, second shift production associates, and equipment technicians. Material handling experience is a plus. This is an excellent new opportunity that offers an attractive benefit package, medical, dental, 401k, attendance bonus, and a competitive wage, starting at $19.75 per hour with annual increases. KTH is hosting open interviews Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. through 3 p.m. Visit kth.net. KTH is an equal opportunity employer.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
How did hiring the right person become so difficult? Well, it doesn't have to be. Alpha Digital already has targeted databases built to very qualified candidates that are just looking for the right opportunity. That allows you to target exactly who you're trying to reach with a budget that is customized just for you. Learn about all the possibilities by going to alphamediadigital.com today. Find your next star employee with alphamediadigital.com.
It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Why wait to save? Dell's Black Friday event arrives early with select deals on top tech to power any passion. The savings start now on the latest XPS and Alienware PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget, special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, including free shipping on everything. Just call 877-ASK-DELL for Black Friday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find.
The Ohio Education Association congratulates Amanda Hoffman, a reading intervention specialist in Springboro schools, this week's education champion.
Good job. What I find rewarding is when the students are successful. Awesome job. When they are very successful, I'm usually jumping up, very excited, and it makes all the difference because then you see a big smile on their face when you get so excited about it. A-N-D-N. Good job.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Coming up here around the corner, top of the hour, we're going to hear from former Bengals MVP quarterback Ken Anderson. We'll hear from him ahead of tonight's big Monday Night Football showdown, the Bengals and the Browns, and that's a big win out of the AFC North. Speaking of the AFC North, got some big news out of the AFC North. The big trade just happened right now that involves, well, not the Browns, not the Bengals, definitely not the Steelers, but the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are 5-3 and sitting atop the AFC North. But there's just something about this 5-3 Ravens team that I don't think has that same scare factor that we've experienced from them in the past. Lamar does not look as dominant as he has looked in years past, and obviously we know at any time he can break off and make amazing plays with his legs, but I don't think anyone fears his arm, and I know nobody fears their passing game as far as the weapons that he has on top of that. Their run game, he is their run game. J.K. Dobbins can't stay healthy, so now the Ravens are trying to resort back to the formula that has basically won them multiple Super Bowls over the last 2 decades, and that's instead of focusing on the offensive side of the ball, they are just doubling down on the defensive side of the ball. Breaking news, Jordan Schultz, as well as ESPN and many other outlets out there have just reported that the Chicago Bears have traded linebacker Roquan Smith to the Baltimore Ravens. I have not come across a report as far as what was given up in exchange for him. But the thing about the Baltimore Ravens that I just find most fascinating is that while many people will ooh and all over this, and oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I can believe it. And as much as I want to say, oh man, this is a big deal, I just don't think it's a big deal. The only reason that the Ravens are in position to be 5-3 and win this division is because of their defense to begin with. Okay. Now you could say it's Lamar, and Lamar is the one reason that the offense that people have to at least semi-game plan for it. It's not a scary offense. The offensive line is okay. It's not great. The run game is okay. It's not great. The pass game is less than okay. And then there's Lamar. Lamar is their offense, but they don't have an offense that I fear or that anyone fears. Bengals fans and the Browns fans, we know we've already lost to them once, but at the end of the day, right now, we know that it's their special teams and their defense. And the Ravens are just doubling down. The problem with this is the teams that keep doubling down on trying to be with their identity being defense, are usually the teams right now that don't have a whole hell of a lot of offense. That's why I still respect what the Bills are doing. The Bills are all about the offense and all about the defense. They are as explosive offensively as they are defensively. They complement one another perfectly. But at the end of the day, the reason that I'm more confident in the Bills' ability to win the Super Bowl than the Ravens is because although the Ravens may have a better defense than the Bills, their offense can't keep up. I think you have to be a very well-rounded team. Even if you're not an elite defense, you at least need to have an elite offense with an average defense. You cannot just be an elite defense and an average to below average offense. I think that is something that is, you need to keep that in mind. I think this is a big deal for the Ravens, but I don't think it's as big a deal as what people are going to make it out to be. It's a big name going to a team that is known for their defense, but isn't an elite defense right now. I don't know how much of an elite defense he makes them, but Kev Nash hopping back in with us here. Kev, your reaction, Roquan Smith again being traded from the Bears to the Ravens. This is great and all, but unless Roquan Smith is an elite top 5 wide receiver, I don't necessarily think this takes the Ravens where they think that they're going. They're good enough to win this division. They're good enough to keep winning football games, but unless Lamar has some help around him on that offensive side of the ball, all I see is another team that's going to go out in the first round, if not the second round at the latest. I think it's a big deal, but it's not as big a deal as we think. This isn't a long-term solution. Once Lamar gets his money, Roquan's gone. A lot of the weapons on defense are gone. So this seems like a desperation move trying to take advantage of a Bengals team that's now without Jamar Chase, the Browns who don't have Deshaun Watson for another month and a half, and the Steelers who are semi-rebuilding. I don't know what this does. It's a shock and awe move. I just don't know how much shock and how much awe we should put towards this, Kev. Oh, it would help if I had your mic on. Gotcha.
There we go. I love the pick up for the Ravens. I hate it for me being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You're able to get an all-pro middle linebacker for a 5th-round pick. And most importantly, that's where they're struggling on defense, not let alone the cornerback positions. They don't Patrick Queen is an outside linebacker, guarding, tight ends and rushing the passer. You need a guy that can really command the offense and defense and be the captain of the defense. I'm not sure what other quote unquote star players out there, wide receiver wise, were available for them to, try to make deals with. I think it's a good pickup for them simply because they got a starting caliber player for a 2nd-round pick. What was it?
Second and a 5th.
Second and a 5th. Okay, there it is. 2nd and a 5th. And he's an all-pro player. So,
but he wants paid.
Yeah, he wants paid for sure.
They can't pay him.
I'm not sure what they can do. I'm not sure what they're.
But you give up a 2nd and a 5th,
right?
I mean, Kev, with their salary cap, but their salary cap is Lamar Jackson here once they finally get this deal agreed upon.
I think this basically means that they're going to franchise tag Lamar Jackson.
And that's a valid point too. But you risk that relationship with Lamar. Or you're going to bring Roquan in, you're going to take care of him financially, but you're not going to take care of him. Like I said, I just find it odd because they also risk if they don't give Roquan what he's asking for, he's going to walk. So you just give up a second round and a fifth round, which maybe they don't. The fifth round's not as, oh my gosh,
right?
Very weird move. But like I said, I don't think this is as big a deal. Like for this isn't a shot at your team. You may take it that way. You say as a Steelers fan, oh man, this bothers you. By the time your team is at the point where this will impact you, I don't think he'll still be with the Ravens.
No, I'm saying like I just hate when the teams in my division that, I mean, obviously we're not going to win. They just keep getting better and better and more players. Like it's just like, oh man, just like when they drafted the offensive lineman out of Iowa, I was like, oh, I would have loved to have him on my team.
Yep.
I mean, I think anybody out there would love to have Roquan Smith on their team as their starting middle linebacker. I mean, that's just like human nature. Like if a guy like that is out there, and I mean, obviously the Bears are doing a fire sale. They already got rid of Quinn. He went to the Eagles. Now they're getting rid of him, Smith. So if there's anybody else out there that anybody wants from the Bears, you might as well hit them up because they're having a fire sale.
I'm also kind of mad too, by the way, giving up a second rounder and a fifth rounder. It's the second time where we've seen a move happen where it's not taking first round picks to go get these dudes. And that's why it's like, you know, when you're a team like the Browns, who's beat up right now defensively, if you're a team like, you know what I mean? Like you can't give up a second rounder, an immediate second for the immediate future of your team right now being this season. Like that stuff kind of drives me nuts. But Matt said, you know, keep in mind, you bring up the franchise tag. It's not like that's going to be a 25, 30 mil hit. That's a 45 mil hit. Lamar's still going to get in the ballpark of what he's asking for. That comes with a long-term deal. He's just going to get about 5 mil less. So no, this is still interesting. But to be fair, they don't have any skill position players to sign. Who of your wide receiver core are the Ravens going to have to take care of? J.K. Dobbins, he hasn't stayed healthy enough for them to invest heavily into him long term. So
yeah, and he's only in year 2. I mean, Bateman is in year 2, and he never plays. The only offensive guy that they paid is Mark Andrews and the left tackle, who's hurt right now. So
yep, we'll see what happens. Again, we by the way, we'll continue talking NFL and stuff coming up top of the hour. Former Bengals MVP quarterback Ken Anderson will call in ahead of tonight's Browns-Bengals Monday Night Football game. Closing thoughts again, everyone chiming in, you know, about what happened with the Michigan game over the weekend. I mean, Harbaugh coming out, you know, he wants charges. He's not going to accept apologies. I don't know what more could be done. The Big Ten saying that they're going to investigate and look further into this. Michigan State's already come out quickly. Their team president or their school president come out and they already have left an apology and all this stuff. Sometimes I don't know what else you could do. Harbaugh, good for him. He has to protect his guys. I don't think he's actually truly really calling for all this to happen, but I think he has to come out and say, hey, you're not going to jump our guys. I'm going to have my guys back, yada, yada. Who knows what's going to happen? Bottom line is, I don't care if that tunnel has been a one tunnel for over 100 years. Stop it with that. It's 2022. It's called risk management. It's called, preventative measures. Just try to make sure this stuff doesn't happen. Right. because that's your tunnel and you handle it responsibly, because that's just what's been instilled in your program. Other programs are not used to having to walk out of the same tunnel with the team that they just spent all week trying to figure out how to pound into the ground. And then when you get your ego hit by getting pounded in the ground, like Michigan beat them down, I guess a player was jumping up and down in front of Michigan State players making their way to the back. And then that's, of course, what happened. Mm-hmm. That's why you don't do that. I don't care. Yes, the human beings need to be better, all that stuff. But you know what? That's not the point here. The point is it's you're setting them up for failure by doing that. And obviously it's dangerous. 518-1410. Last thoughts on this before Ken Anderson. Kev, who we got?
We got Shaw, line 1.
The Shaw. What up, Shaw?
Not too much. How about you guys?
OH.
Go blue. It just, like, you guys outside of it, and I don't mean it to sound disrespectful, but like when you don't pay attention to this stuff year in and year out, you just truly don't understand it.
What's 2 minus 1?
What does that even mean?
2 minus 1 is 1. One tunnel for 2 teams to go out of. What's so hard about this to understand?
And it's been that
You're
way
not smarter
for
than us.
years.
You don't
So
know
why
more
is
than
the
us. It's
problem
not like this is a complicated math problem to figure out. This is as simple as it's a highly competitive physical game. And when you take 2 teams and make them exit out of the same tunnel, this is bound to happen. It's happened twice already this season. It's happened with Ohio State in the past.
Then why
this isn't that hard to figure out?
Then why didn't it happen before now?
It doesn't matter if
Then
it hasn't
why
happened
didn't it
before.
happen
It's always
now?
it's always
Then
been
no, it
vulnerable to
doesn't
happen.
always happen.
I mean, maybe your
It
team
hasn't
shouldn't talk so
always
much
happened.
smack. I mean,
You're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You are
It's
wrong.
2 minus 1 is 1.
Wait. Hold on. Let him finish, Kenner. So what are you saying, Shaw?
The tunnel doesn't need to be fixed. They need to go back to the rules that were in place before all this started.
Okay,
It was about
so enlighten
2-3
it. Wait. Enlighten us. What were those rules?
The visiting team used to go up the tunnel and go in their locker room before Michigan would enter as the team was halfway up. The security guards and the coaching staffs of both teams prevented Michigan from running up there and getting involved with the other team. So you're telling me during the 10-year war, the Ohio State didn't want to rip Michigan apart? You're telling me during the 70s and 80s, Michigan State and Ohio State didn't want to rip Michigan apart? Why didn't it happen? Because they didn't allow it to happen. Instead of allowing both teams to run up the tunnel at the same time, which they didn't, they allowed 4 guys from Michigan to run up the tunnel with Michigan State, which they weren't allowed to do. And that's what
Or
started.
if there's 2 tunnels, the white team goes out that tunnel, Michigan goes out this tunnel, then you don't have to hire the extra manpower to police 1 tunnel.
That's not how the stadium was built, and it wasn't
Rebuild
that way
it
for 100
Add
years.
one.
So why is
There's
it a
money.
problem
There's time.
now?
So Shaw, they used to have paint with lead in it. They don't anymore. That's my whole point here. Lead paint is poisonous. It's bad. 1 tunnel for 2 teams is bad. Like, I don't care that the stadium's been that way for 1,000,000 years. It's antiquated. It's not working. It's not safe.
We're not the only stadium.
No, I'm not. We're pointing it out because it just happened. Obviously, I'm sure there's other stadiums across the country that have 1 tunnel and they're stupid too. But that being said, this altercation happened at the Big House on Saturday, so it's headline news. So the Michigan and the other places, especially teams in the Big Ten, and I'm gonna keep banging this and I'm gonna keep blowing this whistle. $80 to $100 million a year. No troughs. Let's get some back seats. Let's get multiple tunnels. I'm gonna just keep adding to the list because there's no reason why this type of stuff should be going on. They don't have just 1 tunnel at the Staples Center out there with the Lakers. Like, get another tunnel. It's not that hard. It truly isn't.
Where were the adults?
Yeah.
Where were the adults?
Yeah.
They were the ones fighting.
My bigger point in this is instead of videotaping it and watching a kid get jumped, why are you not stopping another human being getting pummeled?
Well, if I work for ESPN, I'm
Michigan and Michigan State.
Well, if I'm ESPN, I'm working a camera. My job ain't to break up fights.
That's true.
I'm not talking. No, that was done by a human. That was done by a human phone.
Point is, I mean, Sean, we could talk about the protocols that were violated and this cop or this guy or this person didn't do his or her job. Doesn't matter. The point is we wouldn't be talking about the people not doing their job to prevent this from happening.
Stop a dude from getting pummeled. What are you talking about?
Why are you
yelling?
That's
your human job.
Why are you yelling? Why are you angry?
Because really, why am I angry? I don't know, because you run my program in the ground at every.
Wow, your program's embarrassing themselves. They can't even police a tunnel.
Really, 29-7, they really embarrassed themselves? Come on, dude.
I thought
this wasn't.
Did they play in the tunnel? We're talking about what happened in the tunnel. What does this have to do with the score? Oh, nice.
Again, another one.
He's an angry elf. Shaw, get a grip. You're a crybaby. Oh, my team. You're running my team into the ground. Your team's every time they're in the headlines for something other than the game, it's always something whiny and embarrassing. And my goodness, whatever. Michigan stinks.
OH.
All right. Let's talk Browns. Let's talk Bengals. Former Bengals MVP quarterback Ken Anderson. He joins us next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Chris Cuomo joins News Nation. Cuomo, now weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern on News Nation. Go to newsnationnow.com to find your channel.
We make decisions every day. How to spend your weekend, what to wear. But some decisions are bigger than others. Don't let others make decisions for you. Vote. Polls will be open on November 8th, and early in-person and absentee voting is available right now. No matter what you choose, you can be confident your vote is secure and your voice will be heard. Big or small, your decisions matter. Visit voteohio.gov for voting locations and hours. Sponsored by Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose. Aired by the OAB and this station.
College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio. WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. As I said earlier, I love the NFL, but there was just something weird about yesterday. No Browns, no Bengals, and like I said, I enjoyed my NFL Sunday, but there was just something missing, and that's something that was missing. Well, it kicks off later on tonight. Monday Night Football, the Browns and the Bengals, and hanging out with us now, of course, to help preview tonight's Monday Night Football showdown between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. Former Cincinnati Bengal Ken Anderson hanging out with us here today. Mr. Anderson, welcome, sir. How are you?
I am doing great, thank you. Looking forward to the game tonight.
I'm excited about this. I know we have had you on shows past, and we've talked about how cool it is to see the Browns and you don't really care about the Browns. You care about the Bengals. But for me, to see the Browns and the Bengals both getting to the point where we're playing meaningful games, we're playing for something, towards something, as opposed to always just hanging out in the basement. Now, I say that knowing my team's kind of hanging out in the basement, talking about the Browns, of course. But it feels like the Browns and Bengals, they're on Monday Night Football. This is not your typical Monday Night Football showdown. It shows just how far these two franchises have come. And unfortunately, for me, not for you, your team has kind of surpassed mine and is kind of living up to those expectations.
Well, we'll see. That's when you play games like this, and I've been in a bunch of them, you kind of throw the records out, and you got to go up there and you got to play well. And, I think one stat that's interesting is Joe Burrow has never beat the Browns. He's 0-3. So maybe they got his number a little bit. I don't know.
With that being said, you guys want to talk, of course, about everything kind of happening, kind of leading up to this matchup. The Bengals, after that 0-2 start, they've obviously flipped that switch, whether it was the offensive line adjusting to that. Joe Burrow, of course, after the appendectomy coming into the season, for whatever reason, the offense wasn't clicking. But the last 2 weeks, the plus side is the offense has really clicked over the last 2 weeks. The downside is they finally found a way to kind of get it going a little bit, but now you throw the big wrench in there. Of course, Jamar Chase, not just out a game or 2 games, but out at least potentially a month, maybe more. When you heard that news last weekend, again, just finally feeling like this team was finally heading in the right direction, not saying the season's over by any means, but this definitely throws a wrench in the chemistry that they had finally been able to get it going here 6 or 7 weeks into the season.
Yeah, and that was one of the things why the Bengals were so successful last year is that they were as healthy as any team in the league for the majority of the season. And now you get, Jamar out. I think the one saving factor is, their tight end is playing well. You've got Tyler Boyd, you got T. Higgins, you've got Joe Mixon. I think they've got some other backup receivers that are going to fill in very well. So, and Cleveland's a little bit banged up for this game. So I think the Bengals offense is going to continue. And I think, it was kind of maybe the turning point was a couple of weeks ago when they decided to go to almost exclusively the shotgun. And, they're there and Joe is getting the ball out quickly, which has really helped the offensive line out.
You talked about Joe Burrow being 0-3 as a starter versus the Cleveland Browns. Another stat that came across the timeline today is that the Bengals are 0-12 in their last primetime road games. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, regular season road games, I think that they did pretty well in the playoffs last year.
Definitely.
They may not have been prime time, but they were the only games going on. It's a different Bengals team now, and after last season, they're getting prime time games and multiple ones, they're getting Thursdays, they're getting Sunday nights, they're getting Monday nights, and I think they got 5 of them so far this year that are scheduled, and who knows what they'll do in flexing one of the later games as well. So you never know there. But like I say, I think having Joe Burrow coming along and healthy this year, and what they're doing offensively, and the defense still hasn't given up a touchdown in the second half. I think they'll acquit themselves very well today.
You got to think that Joe Mixon and that offensive line are chomping at the bit since the Cleveland Browns run defense is bottom of the league.
Well, let's hope so. And again, you can look at statistics and my gosh, in these division games, like I say, you throw them out. I remember, 1979, we were an awful football team, and we were 0-7, and the Steelers were 7-0. And they came to Cincinnati on the way to another Super Bowl, and we beat them 37-10. They didn't cross midfield till the fourth quarter. So you look at statistics, and then you kind of throw them out. And I always remember Paul Brown. Whenever we returned to Cleveland, it was a big game, and those sentiments are still there.
Ken, just with your experience, obviously playing, the quarterback position at the highest level, being a former MVP quarterback, you do that. You accomplish those things, of course, because you have talent around you. And obviously this offense for the Bengals is more than just Jamar Chase, but obviously he is the guy that just really kind of allows everything to open up the way that it does. This offense is not dead in the water without Jamar Chase by any means, but I know everyone keeps saying, well, they're fine. They're fine. They got T. Higgins. They got Tyler Boyd. I get that they are fine and that they're fortunate to have a lot of other weapons to be able to kind of fill the void while he is out. But at the same time, we can't talk about how elite this offense is with Jamar Chase and expect it not to have any kind of hindrance on the offensive flow. From your experience, when you take a talent like Jamar Chase out, I know it's easy to say they'll be fine because they have T and they have obviously Boyd and others, but how much of an impact negatively does this have on an offense? What's a realistic setback for this offense as far as what impact it could have, not just on the offense as a whole, but Joe Burrow?
Well, I think they're going to be successful tonight, and like I say, you've got, other receivers, on the roster and who had good, good training camps and good preseason. So, it's like I said, they still got to worry about Boyd. They still got to worry about T. Higgins. And so that means all of a sudden, Hayden Hurst is doing a nice job at tight end. He's going to have a big game, and we'll see who the third receiver is going to be.
The Cincinnati Bengals defense has definitely been playing like they did in the playoffs. Now they're going up against that running attack from Nick Chubb and the offensive line. What can we expect from the linebackers and that defense from the Cincinnati Bengals going up against that running attack?
Well, was it last week with Atlanta and even the week before New Orleans, teams had success in the first half running the football against them. Then they kind of tightened down, batting the hatches, they held them to field goals rather than touchdowns. So, with Reader out, in the middle, that's one of the big guys. Again, they're going to have to, step up the pace. And, it's kind of the theory, next man up. We're going to have to go ahead and pick up the pace.
Last thing before we let you go, Ken Anderson, former Bengals MVP quarterback with us here. I know Joe Burrow has just been that big infusion as to the biggest difference maker coming into Cincinnati. Obviously there's been so many other great moves around him. It hasn't just been him, of course, but everything seems to be clicking for this team. A minor setback with the Jamar Chase injury, of course, but with what time you have spent with this team and when you've been around Joe Burrow, what is your biggest takeaway as far as what separates this positive run for the Bengals and previous positive runs for the Bengals in decades past, even going back to when you were there?
Well, I've only had a chance to meet Joe once, and that was in one of the OTAs that I happened to be, in town and saw him after practice for a little bit because, before then with the COVID restrictions in the NFL, I couldn't get near, the locker room or anything. So, but I think, it's his leadership by example. He works extremely hard at it. He's extremely well prepared. And I think it goes back, Zach Taylor was getting a lot of grief the last several years. He kept talking about culture. We're heading in the right direction. We're trying to get the right guys in the locker room. And we saw what having, the right guys in the locker room can mean. And, all the successful teams that I've been on, it's been a good locker room where the players are all pulling in the same direction. The veterans are great leaders. And, you don't always have to be a vocal leader. You lead by example. And these Bengals have a lot of hardworking guys, a lot of guys that lead by example. And, it's when the running game wasn't going well, and Joe Mixon called the meeting with the offensive line. Hey, let's look at it together. What are you thinking? What am I thinking? Where am I going wrong? What can we do better? And so everybody is positive in their approach, but working extremely hard together.
All right, Ken Anderson. Ken, listen, my takes are not, very well received around here. A lot of Bengals fans. I'm a Browns fan. I'm outnumbered around here. My two hot takes for tonight: the Browns put an end to the Bengals no touchdowns in the second half streak. I think the Browns scored 2 touchdowns in the second half. I think the Browns win tonight. And I'm really curious to see what your boy Joe Burrow what he wears in the pregame. I get ripped all the time because I poke fun at what he wears in the pregame on Twitter. You love what he wears in the pregame.
Walking into the stadium last week, it was purple, and what game was it? He had the black suit with the white print flowers on it. He makes fashion statements. It'd be interesting to see if they walk into the stadium in Halloween costumes tonight.
Which of Joe Burrow's pregame outfits could you pull off?
None.
None.
I did not wear clothes nearly as well as he does.
Well,
but I will say one thing. I'd be happy to come on your show again, but only when you may not be there. Especially the next Brown game. Give me a call. But I'm not really excited to talk to a Browns fan like that.
No, that's fair. But I did text you on the Super Bowl. I gave you a who day on the Super Bowl last year. I said it pains me as a Browns fan. Yes. I did give you a who day.
Yes, you did, and now you're flaunting it with your pick today.
Well, I tell you what,
call me tomorrow after we beat you by 30, and we'll see how it goes.
That's fair. I'll give you another who day tomorrow if that's the case. And then if the Browns win, you still agree to come on moving forward, correct?
Yes, I will.
All right. That's a fair bet. All right. Former Bengals great Ken Anderson. Ken, you the man. I appreciate you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Later.
All right. Ken Anderson right there, former Cincinnati Bengal. Oof, thought I lost him for a minute, but I got him back on track. Oof, that was a close one. All right, folks, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We'll have more Browns Bengals Monday Night Football coverage for you when we come back.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The mid-afternoon and early evening will be
So register every week at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun casual joint and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Official contest rules at roosterswings.com.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens Find Direct's coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can
you love. There's a new natural solution that patients are raving about.
QC Kinetics.
Let QC Kinetics help you improve your quality of life.
Call QC Kinetics 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Jamie's log. Progressive. The Harrington's backyard. Day 27, 3:33 a.m. 333. All those threes mean something. Or I may be losing it. Been camped in the Harrington's backyard for 27 days now, proving that Progressive has 24/7 protection. They told me every day they understand what 24/7 protection means. Think I'm finally getting through to them. 333.
Progressive doesn't just offer a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection. Just not literally from Jamie. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital.
Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
A new Dick's Sporting Goods warehouse sales store is now open in Dayton at Mad River Station. Get ready to save up to 70% off on thousands of items. Grand opening celebration November 4th to the 6th.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Why wait to save? Dell's Black Friday event arrives early with select deals on top tech to power any passion. The savings start now on the latest XPS and Alienware PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget, special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, including free shipping on everything. Just call 877-ASK-DELL for Black Friday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Down the sideline to the 10. It drags a defender in the end zone for a touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba. A 50-yard scoring strike from C.J. Stroud. He'll hit the Purdue 40. Down the left side to the 30. Henderson to the 20, to the 10. And into the end zone goes Henderson.
Don't miss the Buckeyes all season long. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. And on 92.9 Jack FM. Go Bucks.
Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Big thanks to Ken Anderson, former Cincinnati Bengal, for taking time and hanging out with us here this afternoon. We are live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Head there now and jump in on the conversation. Yes, someone getting a kick out of Ken Anderson saying that he'll do the show again as long as I'm not a part of it. For those of you that missed the conversation with Ken Anderson, we'll have that coming up again for you here. But here was Ken Anderson. He wasn't too pleased with my Browns chatter.
But I will say one thing. I'd be happy to come on your show again, but only, when you may not be there, especially the next Brown game, give me a call. But, I'm not really excited to talk to a Browns fan like that.
No, that's fair. But I did text you on the Super Bowl. I gave you a who day on the Super Bowl last year. I said it pains me as a Browns fan. I did give you a who day.
Yes, you did. And now you're flaunting it with your pick today.
Well, I tell you what,
call me tomorrow after we beat you by 30, and we'll see how it goes.
That's fair. I'll give you another who day tomorrow if that's the case. And then if the Browns win, you still agree to come on moving forward, correct?
Yes, I will.
All right. That's a fair bet. All right. Former Bengals great Ken Anderson. Ken, you the man. I appreciate you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Later. Ken Anderson. Now that interview coming up for you again, coming up here around the corner. If you missed it, previewing tonight's Browns and Bengals game. My last thing on this, without getting into a trolling conversation about the impact of no Jamar Chase. Could you at least understand where I'm coming from with this question? I tried to pose it to Ken Anderson, but he didn't answer it the way I wanted to, or anyone to. I want someone to say this is going to be a problem. But no, what I'm saying is we can't sit here and say, oh man, look at the difference Jamar Chase made being dropped into this offense a year ago, and then say that taking him out, it's no big deal because you have these other two. There is going to be a significant impact on this offense. What that is, we don't know yet. But we can't just sit here and if we're going to act like, okay, well, they have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, they'll be fine. If we're going to say that they are fine without him, then when it comes time to pay him, then why pay him? If you have T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, or by the time we get to that point, Tyler Boyd, you replace him with someone else. But do you even see what I'm trying to say here? Like, I think if you take Justin Jefferson off the Vikings, of course, to be fair, Cousins is not as good of a quarterback as Burrow to overcome that. I guess you could even argue that if you take a top receiver off any other team out there, I mean, Patrick Mahomes has done it seamlessly without Tyreek Hill because Patrick Mahomes can elevate those around him. Joe Burrow, assuming he has that same, capability. Some are like, well, of course he does. We don't know. This is the first time that this team has faced any kind of really, injured situation where they're going to be without a star guy. But I think you get what I'm trying to say is we can't sit here and talk about the dominance of Jamar Chase and what he brings to this offense and then him not being out there and just say, well, they'll be fine. They got T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. I know that. And I know that they're still going to be a good offense. But what is the margin of error for the Bengals that the gap between elite with Jamar Chase and just a good offense with T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, that gap could be significant in costing them games moving forward, I guess is what I'm trying to say. If we can't just be ignorant and say, oh, well, no, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. You can't say they'll be fine, because Jamar Chase is too special of a talent to lose and it not have an impact, right?
Absolutely. We agreed on this when the news broke last week. It's a significant blow for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, according to the guys out there in the desert, it's only worth a half a point because it only dropped from 3.5 to 3. Last time I checked, the Bengals are still only favored by 3 points. So put a percentage on it. What percentage would you put on the Bengals missing Jamar Chase?
Well, what I think we're going to, I'd say it's going to have a 25 to 30% impact on them, which isn't high, but it's not low either.
Right.
And I think that is kind of high for an offense. Then when you talk about them peaking, Kev, you know why they've been peaking? It's because Jamar's had these 150 plus yard performances in back-to-back weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen T go off for 100 plus. We've seen Boyd go off. That's what makes them so special. But like of those yards that T and Boyd have, what's the percent of their production that stems from Jamar Chase? Those guys aren't bums, by the way. T is not all of a sudden going to look tonight like, oh my gosh, I've never played football before. They know how to play, but it's not so much about their ability as much as it is about the ability of the offense to basically just run fluidly. That's where I'm coming from. You guys are hearing, oh, I'm just taking shots. I'm enjoying the fact that there's no Jamar Chase. I don't think that's the case at all. I'm not really hating here. All I'm saying is for instance, the Browns do not have nearly as a good of a passer. They don't have a very good passing offense. Jacoby Brissett's not terrible. Amari Cooper's really, really good, but they're not explosive like the Bengals are. But I promise you this, Kev, you take him off, they're really screwed. You take Amari Cooper off, they're really screwed. But they also don't have the second, and third guy like the Bengals do. I don't know. I just think there's a little bit of truth in what everyone is saying. Yes, they technically will be fine without him. But I also don't think it's fair to say that this will have no impact on them and that they'll continue rolling. I don't think that's the case. I don't think this team's good enough to say that that's the case. They haven't. That's not true. They are good enough. They haven't played good enough to this point for us to say that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, for us to be there or be saying that, you have to prove it. You have to show it. And I mean, yeah, obviously, Joe Burrow isn't the same player that he was in season 1. Same thing for T. Higgins. You expect they've grown as players and gotten better. But, what makes them so dangerous is because they have 3. And because coverage gets rolled to the best of the 3, that makes the other ones have one-on-one coverage. So now you don't have that. Now you have basically what everybody else has is 2 good wide receivers instead of 3 very talented wide receivers. So it's going to be an adjustment for sure.
So, and then the other thing too is what does they'll be fine. And let me ask this without me talking as much now. 518-1410. I want to have a serious conversation. When Bengals fans, when you guys tell me we'll be fine, what does that mean? I'm not being funny here. I'm not trying to maybe I was a little trolly over the weekend. That's fair. I'm not today. I'm taking my troll hat off. I'm not even wearing a hat, but pretend I was. What does that mean? We'll be fine. What does that mean? Because I don't know I don't understand what you guys are trying to say, that we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll just continue winning games. Well, how have you won football in 5? And by the way, Kev will take your calls and get you guys in the order that you call in on. But, does that mean you'll just continue winning football games? Does that mean you'll just continue putting up 30 points per game? Does that mean Joe Burrow will put up 300 plus yards per game? Again, I'm not trolling. I'm not trying to stir the pot. I just want to have a legitimate conversation as far as what you guys mean by that, because I think what you guys are, what I'm trying to say in a less trolling way is that if your team started out the way the team should have, let's say, I expected them even before the season when I was looking at the win-loss, and, the guesstimations of everything, looking at it, I was like, well, this team could easily start out 5-2. This team could start out 6-1. I mean, there's a good chance. I mean, I think even looking at the teams they faced thus far should be, 7-0 heading into this matchup. So if this team is 6-1 or 7-0 and this happens, I'm like, okay, I agree with you. There's nothing to worry about here. They're fine. Because even if they do drop 2 games over the next 4 because they don't have Jamar Chase, you know what? You still are. That still means you're at 7-3 heading into week 10. You're fine. What I'm trying to say is at 4-3, losing 3 games you should not have lost, or at least 2 of the 3 you should not have lost. To me, I think that adds a little bit more urgency to this, to where you're not as fine. I guess that's kind of where I was at with that. Not in a trolling way. Don't get all angry. Don't, put your Houday stripes away for a second. What do you mean by they'll be fine? 518-1410. Kev, who we have online now?
We have Bob, line 1.
Bob on line 1. Bob, how are you, sir? Thanks for holding.
Hey, what's up, man? What's up? I think, Justin, I think sometimes your problem, your issue, is your Ohio State mentality. This is not college football. You don't get style points for winning in the NFL. And I know a couple of weeks ago you didn't want to hear a win is a win, but that's what it is. In the NFL, like I've mentioned many, many times, you cannot pull out a schedule and say this is a win, this is a loss. You can do that at Ohio State. You can do that in college. You can't do that in the NFL, because from week to week, all of these guys are professionals. All of these guys are like 5-star athletes. Coaching and all that stuff has something to do with it, but you just can't look at it that way. Of course, it matters with Chase out, no doubt about it. But by the same token, most teams only have a couple of receivers. There were 2 or 3 receivers. The Bengals have, actually are pretty good. What happened when Tyler Boyd was the number 1 receiver with the Bengals when A.J. Green went out? He went over, 1,100 yards with Andy Dalton? What happened to T. Higgins in his rookie year? If he hadn't got hurt, he would have went over 1,000 yards. So I think that's what you're missing. And to say, well, does that mean that they're going to be blowing people out? Well, they really haven't been blowing people out anyway, because it's the NFL. It's not college.
Well, but the Bills and Kansas City Chiefs don't seem to have a problem with that, and I'd argue they have less weapons than the Bengals. That's what I'm trying to say is and I'm not trying to argue with you. I guess my point, I get that a win's a win, but there's a certain point in the season where we even get to, okay, there's enough wins to get them to the playoffs, but I guess I'm holding the Bengals towards the standard of the Bills and the Chiefs and others, because I think they're as good as them. They just haven't looked it yet. So when you say they're if you lose to the Cowboys or the backup quarterback and some of these others, I'm like, yeah, I get what you're saying. A win's a win, but at a certain point, we're going to get to the point to where how you're playing and how you look will matter. And that's still where I'm kind of playing it with these guys, is how they look right now, because the Bills look sharp. The Chiefs look sharp. the Bengals are starting to look sharp, but I wonder how much of a setback. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much will this knock the rhythm of the offense with no Jamar Chase?
Yeah, I get that, but also I don't take into account a whole lot of the September games because, again, in a lot of cases, teams don't play. They don't. They don't even play preseason. It takes a while to get going. And really, if you look at the history of the NFL, who wins the Super Bowl? It ain't the teams that start out fast. It's the teams that around mid-season or whatever who get hot. Those are the teams that really do something. It doesn't matter. Pittsburgh was 11-0 a couple years ago. They were garbage.
I know. My Browns beat them that year. Thank you very much. But at the same time,
I do remember that.
Thanks, guys.
I like to remind people of that from time to time. But at the same time, the teams that have started out hot, like the Chiefs and Bills, I don't think those fan bases are sitting here saying, "Oh, we're screwed because we've started out so hot."
I agree. That's if you do it, that's nice. But again, you don't win nothing in the mid-season. You don't win nothing for that. Again, that's college. College, you got to win every game. Every game is a big week. In the NFL, it ain't like that. What did the Bengals start out last year? Was it 5-4? They were 5-4 at some point, and then they went on a run. So I think they're going to go on a run. Obviously, a player like Chase does absolutely make a difference. But my God, he's one guy. If you can't coach around that, if you can't scheme around that, well, then maybe you're not who we think you are. Basically, one guy shouldn't be, unless it's a quarterback. One guy should not be able to dictate that when you have other players with excellent ability on the team. So that's what I'm saying. And like I said, now is the time around mid-season. That's the time to start kicking. September, people are feeling their way out. Teams are different. Again, from year to year, just because the Bengals went to the Super Bowl last year, that don't mean that, okay, that means you're going to come in and you're going to dominate. Look at the Rams. That happens every year. People change. Teams are different. That's why you can't pull out a schedule and chalk up wins. You just can't do it. And backup quarterbacks, I don't know. What's a backup quarterback in the NFL? All these dudes play. I don't even know what a backup quarterback is anymore. All of these guys play. So, and you might say, well, Jacoby Brissett, yeah, he's a backup. Yeah, but that's your starter. That's who you guys picked.
That's our problem. That's one of our many problems. Enough of the excuse, Bell, Kev. Hey, great. No, yeah, I don't need you. Yeah, forget that. Done with both of you. Hey, man, I appreciate the call. Thank you.
All right, buddy. See you later.
Look, man, I'm about to get my own bell, and every time I hear
no.
518-1410. Kev, who's up?
We got David line 2.
All right, David, you're up, sir. How are you?
Hey, what's going on? Well, you know what? I think you said it really, really well right before that last caller when you were talking about what the Bengals could be, or maybe even should be. Should they be 5-2? They're an extra point away from Pittsburgh in that first game from being 5-2 right now, which changes the whole feeling that you have going into something like this. If they were 6-1, you're exactly right. I think as a Bengals fan, it's when we say, because I'll say, yeah, we're good. I kind of allude to what the last caller said, that we've got other receivers. A lot of teams don't have two number ones like the Bengals have in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
With all due respect, and by the way, I'm acknowledging T. Higgins' talent. Do not get me wrong. So this isn't me trolling or trying to spin anything here. But when we say that, how do we know that? How do we know that T. Higgins is a true number one that can step in and be that? Is he just an elite number two? Until we see him be the number one that could still carry this offense moving forward. I guess that's why we're speaking in generalities at that point. So that's where I'm kind of going with that, I guess.
You're exactly right. We got 2 weeks before the bye to find out if he can be that number one. So we'll find out a lot tonight. I think the Browns are scary. I get their record, but nobody has a run. To me, Nick Chubb's the best running back in the game. And they have to. The Bengals have done a really good job of stopping the run, but it's just a scary game. This is the kind of game where the Bengals don't show up and the Browns just take care of business. And I think that's what makes me really, really nervous about this game. On paper, we're with the exception of running back, we look great. Joe Mixon, he's wearing me down. He's 1.5 yards every time he touches the ball. Where his value is, I think, is catching the ball in the backfield. I don't know what happened to him as a runner, but he hasn't been doing much. He didn't do a whole lot last year either. I know he had yards, but he's just, if you watch him week in, week out, it gets really, really frustrating. He seems almost hesitant. So, in order for the Bengals to be successful, I think tonight they're going to have to run the ball, And obviously, I'm not saying anything about it. No, run the ball to open up the pass, but and I think Hayden Hurst is going to have a big game tonight. You're going to have to use that tight end a little more than they have this season. So
you know what's crazy? I just looked up Joe Mixon. Like I said earlier, oh, he's regressed. Like I'm thinking like he's like an older running back. You know, he's 26 years old. He's the same age as, I mean, Derrick Henry's 28. Alvin Kamara is 26. I mean, these guys, there are other guys, like there's actually not an excuse for Joe Mixon to be regressing right now. Like I that is interesting. I don't know why I've always viewed him as like an older running back. I feel like he's been around a while, but he's technically been around a few years. Yes. But like, he's not an old running back. That's what's crazy about this.
Right. And he, I mean, you know, I like the kid, Chris Evans, a little bit. Because he seems to hit the hole when he gets a chance. He seems to hit the hole already at full speed. And Joe likes to dance around a little bit, and it gets frustrating. But no, I mean, I love the Bengals, and I think they're going to win. I feel like they're going to win. If I'm betting, I'm thinking they're going to win. But this is just one of those little sneaky games, and the Browns got a lot of talent, and they just haven't put it together this year for whatever reason. But their last game out against the Ravens, they look nice. So that's what makes me nervous.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. You know, I forgot we're on camera and I just gave you the bird. So I just pulled a Marty Brenneman on that one. My bad on that. That literally was just me getting too comfortable right there. So there's that. But yeah, I don't know what the problem is with the with the Browns. What do you mean? Jacoby. I like Jacoby. He's actually not that. He's been very good as a backup quarterback. But again, there's a reason he's a backup quarterback. I mean, for everyone out there says, are you kidding? He's played really, really well. Okay. When Deshaun Watson comes back and Jacoby's available for everyone out there to have next offseason, who's lining up to make him a $45 million a year quarterback? I'll wait. All right. 518-1410, Kev. Let me reset here. Yep. And again, let me ask you, what is all right? We'll be all right without him? And I get what people are saying, winning games. But okay, but you could be winning games against bad teams, but you got to understand, I also am a little bit like, we're not at the point now where we're worried about this, injury yet with Jamar Chase. But at the same time, this went from an injury that he was just told, reporters told all of us, hey, you know what? We are actually he's just taking an off day for rest, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine. And then 2 hours later, he's out for a month and a half. Like, I think this injury, I know it doesn't require surgery, but sometimes now you're just sitting back and hoping.
Right. This
is an injury that needs to heal over time, and that people are hoping that because he's an athletic freak and that does help him. I get that. But like, they're just hoping that it naturally heals over time. But how much? So he's not going to be doing much running, and he's not going to be doing much explosiveness over the next 4 to 6 weeks, Kev. So when he comes back, we just expect him to pick up where he left off. I don't know. I'm not being negative. I'm just saying there could be more to this. So talking about, we just need to get by for 4 weeks. Well, this could be 6. And then it could be 7, then it could be 8. And then it's like, oh man, now we're in the point where we're facing the Chiefs. We're playing the Bills. Now we're going to, now with no Jamar Chase, we got to play the Ravens again with Roquan Smith now. Oh man, look out. And then you got to play the Browns again. Then you got to play like I said, the Bucks. I mean, this schedule is not set up for them to be fine after this 4-week stretch. So if we're just narrowing it down to 4, I noticed what they're doing, Kev. 4. They said at least 4 to 6 weeks. You guys just keep saying, we're just going to be without him for 4 games. The next 4 games are easy. Okay, when those 4 games are done, then what? Because I also, like the last caller, 2 callers ago, you can't just say games are easy. You can't just say games are easy, but then say, we'll be fine over the next 4 games. What are you talking about? You can't have it both ways.
You just unpacked a ton. I think you skipped around a little bit. So we'll concentrate on tonight. Tonight, fine would be scoring 24 points. I think 24 points is enough for the Cincinnati Bengals to win. They're averaging, I think I saw they're averaging 20, I'm probably wrong, but 27 points a game. So if they scoring 24 points a game over the Browns, Panthers, Steelers, Browns, Panthers, bye week, Steelers, Titans, if they're able to score 24 points a game in those games, I believe they'll win all 4 of those games.
Sean Boland says, got to play the Browns again. Laugh my ass off because I threw them into the mid. Y'all, you've lost 4 straight. Y'all can't beat the Browns. Joey B, who walks on water, he can't beat the Browns. What are you talking about? Y'all had the same confidence heading into last year. I'm already making sure my phone is charged so I can release my laughing video again tonight. And it's going to be a lot further than I'm having quite a few brewskis in me. I can't wait to release the laughing video again tonight. It's going to be epic. I cannot wait.
What you drinking on tonight?
Probably. I like the little Coronas. I like the Coronas with the lime. I like a little Corona.
Fair enough.
I do a little Captain and Coke as well.
Okay.
I use some of my PTO days tomorrow. Win or lose.
Smart man.
Man. Chad Kinser. So you're saying he can't pick up where he left off, but at the same time, you've said the Browns will be so much better when Watson gets back, almost 2 years out of the league. No, Chad, you keep saying that. Chad, pay attention, Chad. You keep saying that. I have said that they got to give themselves a chance until Deshaun Watson gets back, because for that very reason, we don't know. He's going to need a game or two to kind of get back into the swing of things. I actually have never said that you dropped Deshaun Watson on this team. Chad, I've also already said that this team's not making the playoffs this year. So my thing is, I've never once said that Deshaun Watson, Kevin can attest to this. I say a lot of crazy things on this show, but I have never once said that Deshaun Watson comes in and just dominates from the get-go. Never once, not once, nor will I ever say that.
The savior.
Shut up, Kevin. I've never said that. Never. When I'm talking about Deshaun Watson, what he means to the Browns, big picture. Yes, they are expected to win football games when he gets back. I don't know what's so hard to understand about that. Are you guys going to give him time to come back and get back? No, you're not. I don't expect you to. That's fine. But no, I don't expect Deshaun to come back and also pick up right where he left off. But I know he's going to get back to where he was. But that's an argument for another day. 518-1410. Kev, who's up?
We have Bengals fan Tim on line 3.
Bengals fan Tim on line 3. Bengals fan Tim. I see what you did there. I see what
a number of things. A number of things.
I see what you're doing. Aaron Rodgers is above now, and now all of a sudden you're all about Joey B. I see what you're doing.
No, man, I'm so pumped about the Packers last night. But anyways, Roquan Smith makes the Ravens a lot better where they needed to get better. I think that's a really good move. I think you're too hard on Lamar Jackson. If you look at how many touchdown passes that guy's thrown, he's thrown some very unfortunate interceptions this year. He's made some bad interceptions, but he's thrown a lot of TD passes, and I think that was a brilliant move. I also agree with Shaw. You don't have to lose a bunch of seats and spend millions of dollars with a new tunnel. You just have to have some more people out there and just don't let them go through the tunnel at the same time.
Well, if it was that simple, we wouldn't have this done all the time. I know what you're saying to a certain point, and I'm not saying Shaw's necessarily wrong. Yes, just have more people defending that. But our point is why risk it with so much on the line? I mean, what if it was one of the star players that got hurt? What if it was your star running back or your star quarterback that got beat down in that tunnel? I'm not trying to make light of that. It is a big deal. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, the fact that it happened because there's a possibility of it happening. There is absolutely zero possibility of it happening when the two teams run to opposite ends of the field to opposite tunnels. But you are right in the standpoint of, okay, they should have some more, security there and stuff. But there was security in place for yesterday or Saturday's game and the game against Penn State earlier in the year. There was security.
But they let
Ohio
guys
State
go
games.
through at the same time. You just don't let guys go through the same time. That's worked for a long time. And anyways, it's probably kind of cool for Shaw to hear somebody say that he agrees. Somebody calls in and agrees with them. And the other thing is too, I think the Bengals, as long as they win, I think they can get at least 24 points a game, even without Jamar Chase. I think they were just, rising. I think they, they won't always win the same way, but they've got a lot of talent, and I think they can do it. I really think they can do it. And also, last night, we saw the Packers had more yards, they had more first downs, they had more third down conversions, they had more rushing yards, more passing yards. Rodgers threw 2 TDs, 1 pick that was a tip. Allen threw 2 TDs. I think he and Rodgers, what their total yards were, they only threw like 210 yards apiece or something, and had 2 picks. I think the Packers, I want this on the air. The Packers win 8 out of their next 9 games. They went on the road. They had a touchdown nullified by touchdown pass nullified by the illegal
push off
motion, but no, you saw that. Now that wasn't any kind of push off.
I've seen worse.
That game was so close. I'm so happy about the Packers. And for tonight, Justin, I'll make you a bet. I will bet the Bengals. How many points do you want me to give you? What's the spread? 3?
I don't need no points. Look,
he wants straight up. He wants straight up.
I'm giving you 6 points. Okay, straight up. For whatever kind of 6-pack of beer you want.
Browns are winning. Browns are get Corona, and
Red Stripe for me.
I'll provide my own lime.
Corona.
I'll provide
All right.
my own lime.
We got a six-pack. I think the Bengals are going to do it tonight. Good show, you guys. Oh, hey, and great having Ken Anderson on. It's so cool that I've said this before, but the local sports talk radio show you guys have is just really, really nice. Great for our whole area here. Great for us fans.
Hey,
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You bet.
Take care.
Next, what games? I wanted to ask him for that before he left, but I forgot.
Repeat that.
What he said the Packers record is going to be what over the next how many games?
8 games. He said he's going to win the next 8, right?
Oh,
eight,
okay.
8 of the next whatever games are left. Tim, he's usually on the Tim on the Facebook page. Comment in there. What was the game? What was the run? Because the thing with Kev, he likes to keep receipts.
I do because I'm looking at the schedule at the Lions, your Dallas Cowboys, Titans, at Philly, at Bears, Rams, at Dolphins, Vikings, and closing it out with the Lions.
3-5 Packers. Woofa.
They need to go on a run.
But hey, you know what? I would kill for some 3-5, and I can't wait for my 3-5 after tonight. That's all I got to say. 518-1410. The Bengals will be fine without Jamar Chase. What does that mean? They'll be fine without Jamar Chase. I don't necessarily agree with that. But at the same time, maybe they will. I mean, look, if Joe Burrow is as good as you guys say he is, if Joe Burrow is Patrick Mahomes has continued dominating without Tyreek Hill. Right? Like, that's the one thing. Like, Tyreek Hill is a problem for the Bengals, because I know while some of you Bengals fans are so adamant that you got to convince me that they'll be fine without Jamar Chase, what happens if he's not? Because you know what you guys are doing? You're burying yourselves right now, because what's going to happen when Jamar Chase, his absence does impact this team and this offense does kind of flatline a bit, then what? Because you have no run game, and now you have no number one wide receiver. Now you think that just moving T. Higgins over is all of a sudden going to fix all your problems. I disagree. I don't think that's going to fix all your problems. T. Higgins will have success in that spot. You'll see Tyler Boyd break out for some games here and there, but I think the fact that you don't have that down the field threat, I think that's a problem. T. Higgins is a down the field threat when he's in single coverage and all the attention's on Jamar Chase, but now that he's not out there, I don't know. And when you don't know, and we all don't know. So is there a chance that they can go out and be fine, whatever being fine means?
What's fine to you?
I don't know what fine is. Like, the whole thing is they had to convince us that they had to pick Jamar Chase in the draft, that there was no other direction that they could have gone. And then they go to a Super Bowl because of it's not a coincidence you drop Jamar Chase in that offense and all of a sudden they find themselves in the Super Bowl. Now you take them out and you want me to believe that they'll be fine. I don't know. I don't think that there is fine. I think that fine, maybe technically, I guess from a record standpoint, yes, is 2-2. Although I still think that because of Patrick Mahomes, if Joe Burrow's as good as what he says, they should win the next 4 games, right? You shouldn't have any problem winning without Jamar Chase. If Patrick Mahomes can win without Tyreek Hill, then Joe Burrow could win without Jamar Chase. So, I mean, hell, Patrick Mahomes is on pace to win an MVP this year without Tyreek Hill. So, I don't know. I don't know what the fair expectation of what is fine. I'm a fan of a team that hasn't had a number one wide receiver in years, and Amari Cooper actually has been solid, but woofa. I'm bringing in Amari Cooper to a Jamar Chase fight. That ain't a good thing.
At Browns, Panthers, bye week, at Steelers, at Titans.
I mean, 1-3 at the worst, but my goodness, at the worst. I mean, you should get a win over the Browns or the Panthers, right? Like, for sure, like at least one in the next 2, right? Like, although Panthers are playing better football for whatever reason. No Baker Mayfield, that's the reason, I'm sure, right?
DJ Moore, ooh.
What is happening there? But at the same time, that's Baker's another toxic wide receiver. I mean, that's what it was. Well, yeah, just saying. They're not beating the Titans, so they better at least win 2 of their next 4 to go 2-2. But like I said, no excuse. Win them all. You're expected to win these all. You're in the Super Bowl. You represented the AFC. Patrick Mahomes is an MVP candidate without Tyreek Hill.
Is 3-1 fine?
3-1 is more than fine. I mean, 3-1 with Jamar Chase would have been fine. So I'd say, but with the teams they're playing and who Joe Burrow is supposed to be, you want me convinced that he's on the same level of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes? Go undefeated the rest of the way without Jamar Chase. Then I'll believe you, or at least over the next 4, to be fair. It's going to be tough.
Is 2-2 fine?
I don't think that's fine. Not with
so the 3-1. 3-1.
Thank you for helping me figure this out.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
Who's up next, Kevin?
We have me in Centerville.
Me in Centerville?
Yes.
All right. What line?
1.
Oh, me?
Yes, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin. Kevin in Centerville. What is up, sir?
Hey, how's it going? All right,
Not
guys.
too bad.
So
Hey, I appreciate you calling, man. Thanks for holding.
So fine. Let's talk about fine. Fine, I think, is seeing if we can figure out a scheme where Boyd gets put in the slot. Fine is seeing if we can get some of those jump balls to T. Higgins. Fine is seeing if we can get our new tight end
Hurst.
some plays Hurst, some plays down the middle to open things up for Boyd. I'd rather see P. Ryan in there coming out of the backfield because I love mixing to death, but when P. Ryan gets in there, he makes plays. And Fine is 3-1, and possibly getting 24 points a game over the next 4 or 5 games, and squishing the Brownies a couple games, and getting back at the Steelers. And we got to beat the Panthers, and getting healthy over the bye. And Fine is having that defense still not give up points in the second half, or give up touchdowns in the second half.
No, and that's totally fine. With all due respect, though, what does that have to do with Jamar Chase in his absence? Is because of what his absence would impact them, for them to overcome it, and what they would have to overcome. What is fine?
Well, you gotta remember though, we haven't had T. Higgins in spot duty so much over the course of this season that we've been basically Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase. So we've had 2 receivers and somebody else most of the year so far, because T. Higgins has been in and out of the lineup so much early in the year, especially those first few games. Last year, Tyler Boyd was in and out of the lineup several times, and Jamar Chase was getting double teamed so much that Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins were the big targets several times last year. So it's not as if Joe's immune to or not used to finding those guys and hitting them in spots. So he's developed quite a rapport with both of those guys. So I think he's developed enough of rapport and has enough of and can set them up in good positions that even with Jamar out, that they'll be able to dial up some nice plays. I mean, it was T. Higgins that scored the touchdown in the Super Bowl.
No, absolutely.
And it is T. Higgins that goes for those jump balls. Now, Jamar, God love him, you need that big play. Like last week, it was. I mean, that was not a deep ball to Jamar. That was a simple. Well, not simple. I mean, it was a 20-yard pass that he turned into a curl and go, but and he made a big play out of it. But I mean, if that was T, he'd be jumping up for it, and he'd be fine. So I think they all bring something special to the table, and it's just going to be capitalizing on their individual skills.
That's
and
fair.
Boyd in the slot. I mean, come on. That guy in the slot is something special. So instead of focusing on, oh great, we don't have that extra gear that Chase brings, we focus on, okay, we don't have that, so we have to now we have to focus on the special gifts that T has and the special gifts that Boyd has. And hey, we've got Hurst who's got his own stuff that Uzama didn't bring to the table last year. So you're right. You know, when you say, hey, well, then we shouldn't pay Chase. Well, it's not quite the same thing because he brings something extra special.
Yeah, but you just brought up all the great things about all those guys, and they had all those guys with Jamar Chase and everything great that he does, but they're 4-3. So all of those things that you said about those guys, that's I agree with you. Those things are true when they have Jamar Chase, but those guys, all their greatness with Jamar Chase still has only led to 4-3. So now Jamar Chase, the greatness of those guys still exists, but even with him only 4-3, how am I supposed to believe that without him, they'll just continue adding to that W category? That's what I'm trying to say. You're only as good as the sum of all your parts, and you're breaking them all down individually. Well, all of those individually are great with Jamar Chase, but now without Jamar Chase, we don't know who they are. So the confidence is where I'm just trying to figure out where it's coming from. I'm here to break it down, my dude. Break your confidence down.
I'm not going to have another game like the first game against Pittsburgh. There's not going to be another five turnover.
Well, no, because you don't play Pittsburgh every week.
Well, no, there's not going to be another game like that even against Pittsburgh. If we play Pittsburgh 17 times, that's not happening again. I firmly believe that, because that was totally an anomaly. And let's face it, the missed extra point. Come on, there's been a lot of bad junk that's happened.
Yeah, bad football. 4-3.
You're a Browns fan. You've seen bad luck happen.
It's not bad luck. It's bad football. Browns don't have bad luck. They just play bad football. Same thing with the Bengals. More times than not this year. 3 I guess they've had one better game than bad, so 4-3.
There's bad luck. There's bad football, and then there's just.
But you know what? We'll see what they do. But hey, I appreciate the call, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Bengals fans, you're doing what I asked you to. I appreciate that. Look. You guys are calling on Facebook. I still haven't heard an acceptable answer though, because
there's not an acceptable answer from
That's
you.
my point though.
In your point of view,
no, because no one's making any sense. You guys are trying to tell me, Joe Mixon is going to, Tyler Boyd is this and that, and T. Higgins is this and that, and I agree. Tyler Boyd's really good. T. Higgins is really, really good. They're really, really good together. They're really, really good with Jamar Chase. And together, they're 4-3. So if you take the elite one away from them, you still have those two really good wide receivers that were a part of the 4-3 start, which is not very good when you have Super Bowl expectations. So that's my point. You don't need to call in and tell me how good T. Higgins and Tyler. I know how good they are, but how they've had them. Oh, they haven't had T. Higgins here and there. So if Jamar Chase is better than T. Higgins and they struggled without T. Higgins, you want me to believe that they're just going to roll and keep being fine without Jamar Chase? That's what I'm trying to say. You keep calling in and trying to tell me how good these individuals are. I've yet to hear an acceptable answer is what fine means with this team.
I think we define what fine is. 3-1.
I know we'd all want to be 3-1. I mean, I would love to be 3-1 over the next 4 games too, but I mean, how's it going to happen? How's it going to happen?
So you want further? You want to show the work?
I'm just saying, no one's making any sense.
I thought you and I came up with something that we defined would be fine.
Yeah, but the more I hear them talk, it's not making any sense. So T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, they're great. They're this, they're that. Well, the Bengals have had them with Jamar Chase, and they're 4-3. Now you take Jamar Chase away from how great that those two are. Well, if those two's greatness couldn't lead to more than just 4 wins 7 games into the season with Jamar Chase, how are you supposed to add to that category and be confident about it over the next 4? Can't wait for tonight. Can't wait.
I think you're confusing yourself.
I'm not. I'm making sense, and it's confusing those around me. That's the problem.
You're damn right.
518 who's on hold, so I know who I'm dealing with when I get back.
We got Doug on 4 and Jacob, the Seahawks fan, on line 2.
All right, Doug. Oh, Mr. Fightmaster. I'm assuming that's who that is. We'll see. All right, Doug and Jacob. We got some college football stuff coming up. Is it time to break out the Ryan Day costume? All right.
Let's do it.
Ryan Day costume's coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Veterans, were you exposed to harmful burn pit smoke while serving overseas? The Department of Veterans Affairs has recognized and is providing benefits to veterans who suffer with asthma, rhinitis, and sinusitis as a result of burn pit exposure. If you served in the Southwest Asia Theater of Operations or Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Syria, or Djibouti, and suffer from any respiratory illnesses that you believe is a result of exposure to burn pits, contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
The YMCA is just a starting line, for the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick below the surface. My why is diversity and unity, a safe space in my community, living with sincerity, giving every day my everything. With my why, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. It's a million faces in a mirror and everyone belongs. Find your why. Learn more at ymca.org for a better us.
When cold symptoms keep you up, try Vicks NyQuil Severe for max strength nighttime relief. Just one dose of Vicks NyQuil Severe starts to relieve 9 of your worst cold and flu symptoms to help take you from 9 to none. Get some rest and feel better with Vicks NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, sore throat, stuffy nose, fever, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed.
Houday Nation, Betfred has come all the way from England to the great state of Ohio with over 50 years of sports betting experience. No emperors, no movie stars, just a sportsbook you can trust. The Betfred Sportsbook app will be available on January 1st, 2023. Until then, download the Bengals app or go to betfredsports.com and have a chance to win Bengals tickets and exclusive merchandise. Official sports betting partner of the Cincinnati Bengals. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Buckeye football season is back. That means tailgating and parties for the big game. You need the Lee's famous recipe Buckeye Bucket. It comes with 25 pieces of the delicious jumbo breast strips for only $44.99. Of course, you can add a few of their famous country side items, buttermilk biscuits, gallons of fresh brewed Lee's iced tea, or lemonade. You have the perfect recipe for a tailgate or watch party. Cheer on the Buckeyes this weekend with a Buckeye Bucket. Order today.
Chris Cuomo joins News Nation. Cuomo, now weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern on News Nation. Go to newsnationnow.com to find your channel.
Ohio, DraftKings Sportsbook is coming. To celebrate, all new customers will receive $200 in free bets. Plus, 5 lucky customers will win a $100,000 free bet. That's right. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving you $200 in free bets just for signing up today. No deposit required. Plus, you'll be entered to win a $100,000 free bet when you sign up. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up with code WING1410 to get $200 in free bets to use once mobile sports betting hits Ohio. Plus, 5 customers will win a $100,000 free bet only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code WING1410. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966. 21 and up. Physically present in Ohio. Eligibility restrictions apply. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regularity licensing requirements. 1 per customer. $200 issued as $825 free bets. No purchase necessary for sweepstakes. Void where prohibited. Ends first day. DraftKings is allowed to operate in Ohio. See terms at dkng.co/OH.
Today's Throwback Thought is brought to you by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Let's take some callers. Tony from Houston. Any throwbacks for us?
Yeah, hi. I remember when you could get a whole meal for just $6. But now?
You still can with KFC's 2-piece drum and thigh combo. Crispy chicken, mashed potatoes, a biscuit, and a drink for just $6.
Is this an ad?
Thanks, Tony. Order KFC's 2-piece drum and thigh combo on the KFC app for just $6. That's finger licking good. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Tax extra.
Ew. Stuck in a cycle of rewashing your clothes? Ugh. Because you can't remove tough laundry odor? Ugh. When detergent by itself can't cut it, use new Downy Rinse and Refresh. With a breakthrough odor-removing formula, it removes odors in 1 wash, better than the leading value detergent in 3 washes, keeping all your laundry fresh. Now you can break the cycle of rewashing with Downy Rinse and Refresh.
Well, I'm a orthopedic surgeon, board certified.
Meet Dr. John Herzog, who's certainly done his share of knee and hip replacements. But these days, he's encouraging his patients to look at regenerative medicine options, now available at QC Kinetics.
I'm kind of the anti-surgeon right now, and a lot of my buddies, if they hear me talking, they're going to give me a call.
Dr. Herzog says advances in regenerative medicine can give your achy joints lasting relief, using highly concentrated healing agents from your own body to repair and restore damaged tissue.
We take the fluid out of you, we concentrate it and putting it in an area where they couldn't normally get to and facilitate healing.
Are you suffering from constant pain due to arthritis or injury? Maybe it's time to look at alternatives to drugs and surgery at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in these exciting treatments.
What could be more natural than using your own body to heal yourself?
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Creative Foam is opening an office in Vandalia, Ohio, and is hiring. On-site interviews Monday through Friday at 3337 North Dixie Drive in Dayton, or apply online at creativefoam.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Of course, we will dive back. I'll get the Ryan Day. It's Halloween. I gotta dress up for Halloween. I'll get the Ryan Day attire coming up here shortly.
Coach.
So you were appalled at something during the commercial break, and I say a lot of appalling things, but there was one thing you asked me if Nora and I are doing that I said we're not doing. Get your mind out of the gutters. Halloween candy.
Yeah.
For the old children.
You don't pass out Halloween candy.
That light is off and the light bulb is out, so we don't accidentally turn it on.
Oh, my
Stay away from my house.
Goodness, that is terrible.
Why is that terrible?
You're a new homeowner.
I'm looking out for the kids' health. Cavities are a problem in today's society.
Ain't nothing but a little mouthwash and a little bit of brushing, man. You are new homeowners. Every kid in the neighborhood is going to know you as the guys that don't give out candy. You know what happens to those type of houses? Eggs, toilet paper.
Throw them back.
Goodness, shame on both of you.
We got security cameras everywhere.
You think kids care about that?
I do. I can't wait to pull the footage and take it down to the local police department.
Gonna pull a Jim Harbaugh underneath the jail.
My tax dollars hard at work. We take care of them little brats throwing stuff in my house.
Man, they're gonna be able to hide behind the bushes that you grew. They're gonna be just tossing them and bang, 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 bang.
Bushes all up against the house. There ain't nowhere to hide. Cameras everywhere.
Goodness, shame on you, man.
Shame on me. Besides, I got a big game tonight. I'm focused on one thing and one thing only, not spoiling all y'all spoiled ass kids. I'm focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is the Browns improving to 3-5 tonight.
You could mix it up. You could go bags of chips. You can go get a big bag of chips from like Costco's or Sam's Club and get the
Did
the
you
50
put an
pack.
S at the end of Costco's? Did you say Costco's?
Yeah, ain't it Costco's?
No, it ain't like a taco shop.
Just Costco?
I want to open up a Costco's. It'll be like a taco shop or something. You put the dreaded S at the end.
I know my mom does that with Walmart's.
Walmart's or the
Just Walmart.
Joe Burrow's.
Multiple.
We don't need more than one.
You get the variety pack of Lay's. Pass those out. Mix it up so they're not eating candy. They're still getting a cool little prize when they come knocking at the Kenner door, man. Come on, Kenner.
I am curious. How many of y'all out there actually participate in handing out candy trick or treat? Do y'all participate in that? I'm not. I don't even feel bad, not even a little bit.
So did you go out trick or treating when you were a kid?
Yes.
So you got to repay it.
But there were houses I went up to. I didn't hate them. I'm like, okay, the light's off. You go on to the next one. What's the big deal? I'm not going to fall for this pressure that society puts on us to give kids free candy. Y'all parents, y'all make your own money. Go. You know how much I make? You think I'm going to go buy candy for other people? Nope.
Man, you just got a new contract. Treyway.
There's stipulations in that.
Come on, man.
No.
Do better.
So we're live on Facebook, the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook, live on YouTube, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel.
Candy emojis in the chat, please.
By the way, and it's not that I hate the kids or that. We just don't feel like doing it. Don't feel like doing it.
We'll leave a bowl out front.
No, because then the jerk kids, they take the whole bowl.
Well, this is what we did the year of when people still believe in COVID. We made little small candy bags. So we had about, 40, 50 bags pre-made. Tossed them out the window. They came up to the door. Trick or treat.
How long is trick or
boom,
treat?
Boom, boom, boom. I think till 8:00. I can check on hot1029.com because that's where you can find out all the beggar nights information.
Brandon Kelty says scumbag Kinner. Brandon Kelty, listen, I'm not going to lie. That mustache in your picture's creepy as hell. I'm not even sure if you're handing out candy tonight, how many kids are going to run up to your house with that mustache of yours? I wouldn't let my kid. That mustache is creepy as can be. You can take shots at me, scumbag Kinner. You can't have a profile picture like that with that creepy mustache and call me a scumbag because I don't want to hand out candy to the kids. I don't even have kids. If I had kids, maybe I'd get involved with the neighborhood of trick or treating and all that. No.
In your neck of the woods, it is from 6 to 8 p.m.
So let's see. Wait, what?
It is from 6 to 8. So the game's not on.
No. That's not how it works. I'm pre-gaming before the game. Nope.
You're terrible. So basically, you're just going to find any excuse not to do it, even though I give you valid information and valid reasons why you should participate.
What up, Rolando? Rolando says, I hand out candy. Good for
See?
you, Rolando. Good for you. Where are my people at that don't hand out the candy? I can't be the only one.
Candy emojis in the chat.
Am
Candy emojis in the chat.
Am I a
please.
scumbag because
Yes.
my wife and I, we don't pass out candy at Halloween?
Yes.
Damn. I don't care. There's not even a part of me that's like, oh, maybe we should. No, I'm just kind of curious. There has to be more people out there like me. I've been saying that for a long time. 518-1410. Kev, who's up? We're talking Bengals Browns, of course.
We got Seahawks fan Jacob online too.
All right. Jacob, you are on, sir. Welcome. He must have left. Must be out trick-or-treating. 518-1410. Let's do one more.
We got Doug, line 4.
What up, Doug?
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Doug, are you about to hand out candy for trick-or-treaters?
No.
Attaboy. I like it.
Shame.
Kinder top 10, you're coming up to the top 5 right now.
Well, it's just something that I just don't trust no more. It ain't like it used to be. And I didn't let my kids go out. My kids used to go to trunk or treat at the church, but as far as like trick or treating back in the day, it just seems to be so unsafe that I just don't participate. I don't know if that makes me a Scrooge or not.
No, it makes you a great person. I applaud your efforts. No trick or treating.
Well, then you get ready to applaud me some more because I agree with you about this topic that we're having. Now, I ain't never seen, first of all, everybody's going to have their opinion on whether this thing is going to make a difference. So it's just opinionated. But most of the callers are just going by what they assume. But you're going by the facts. When you lose a number one receiver, it's a big difference maker. Ask when you lose one or you get one, it's a big difference. And that's the only thing that we can go by. Aaron Rodgers has lost his number one receiver, and he's struggling. Now, I know you say, well, he ain't got T. Higgins and Boyd. Okay. A.J. Brown went to Philadelphia. Now they're this great team. Kevin, you should remember this. Everybody thought Juju was going to be the next upcoming star receiver. Antonio Brown left. He fell off the map.
Mm-hmm.
And them number ones are so important. They mean everything. They're probably the next best thing to a quarterback. It's proven when you have a number one or you lose a number one, it's detrimental to your team. Josh Allen, he was mediocre until he got a number one receiver. And when he got a number one receiver, now he's this elite quarterback. So you do have something to go by. Whereas everybody else is arguing against your argument. They're just going by the fact of what they want or what they hope or whatever. I ain't never seen a sport where you can lose your best player and it don't matter. I ain't never seen that.
Preach.
I mean, I've never seen it. And another thing is,
there's more.
The Browns is going to whoop the Bengals tonight, and they was going to whoop them with Jamar Chase. I mean, everybody could go through whatever. The Browns could be. I heard a caller earlier say, "Well, if such and such wouldn't happen, they'd be 5-2." The Browns could be 6-1. If games that they could have won and probably more favorable to win, they could be 6-1. And the game they lost against New England, I think they just kind of gave up that particular game. Now, I ain't saying the Browns is great or whatever, but they're just as good as everybody else right now. They just ain't finishing the job a lot. They could beat the Bengals. They beat them both last year. Like you said, I don't think Mayfair is any better than Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett has played some really good football. They've been scoring at a high level. They've been scoring just as much as the Bengals. They probably pretty much playing somewhat the same schedule. I don't see how it's supposed to be so lopsided.
Nope. And hey, man, I appreciate the call. Thank you. First of all, look, he said a lot of things I agreed with, a lot of things I don't agree with. I don't know if the Browns are going to wipe the field with the Bengals tonight. I think that the Browns, the thing that's been crazy is the fact that, the Browns do not have a very good wide receiving core, and the Cincinnati Bengals do, and only 2 games separate them in the win-loss category right now. So that whatever, we'll see. I still think Jamar Chase's absence is going to have a significantly bigger impact on tonight's game than you guys are giving it credit for. We cannot sit here and act like that's going to be the case. I know we've had this conversation going on, quite a few days now since the news came out last Thursday, but I'm just saying, to sit here, you guys cannot be that cocky and confident to think that this is not going to have an impact. You can say, well, it's definitely going to have an impact, but we're going to be fine. Well, then that's not having an impact. Like, that doesn't make any dang sense. You don't lose Jamar Chase. You took, that was such a ballsy move, taking Jamar Chase with that number 4 pick that season. And you did it. You ended up in the Super Bowl. And then you said, oh, look how wrong everyone was. They needed Jamar Chase. And then now they don't need Jamar Chase. I don't understand. 518-1410. Kev, who's up?
We got Yogi, line 1.
Yogi?
Yep.
What up, Yogi?
What's going on, man?
Is your name really Yogi?
Yeah.
That's pretty badass. I'm not going to lie. All right, Yogi, what you got for us?
Man, that Seahawks guy was smoking crack, if I'm being honest. And he's probably really excited about Geno Smith being his quarterback and all. But I want to say, yeah, I'm worried. I'm a Bengals fan. I'm a little worried. I'm really excited to see what Zach Taylor can do without his crutch. I mean, he's become his crutch, and I really want to see what Zach Taylor can do without Jamar Chase on the field.
I mean, look, I think Zach Taylor's play calling has been in question quite a lot. I don't know if. Look, to be fair here, I don't think Jamar Chase is Zach Taylor's crutch. I think Joe Burrow is Zach Taylor's crutch. But to be fair to Zach Taylor, I think every coach with an elite quarterback, that is their crutch. That's what makes them or breaks them. I think that Joe Burrow is going to be impacted by this more than anybody else out there, even T. Higgins and them, who I think benefits from his presence out there. Joe Burrow, who is really who is going to – there's a lot of pressure on him to make this work. We could talk about what's going to make this fine and not. It's really up to Joe Burrow, because if Joe Burrow doesn't make it work, then none of this is going to work.
Right. And, I mean, I think there's 16 teams out there, half the league, that would take T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd as their number 1 receiver right now.
Tyler Boyd, I don't know, but Tyler Boyd's been really very, very good, and I think it's because of the separation he's able to get because of the attention that the other two get. T for sure. I still think we don't know.
Linebackers line up on him half the time.
Yeah. Look, I just think everyone plays their role. This is I think the best receiving core in football is the Bengals, which means they're the most equipped to handle something like this, I guess, as far as at least having someone, just move some guys over. But I think it's because of how good Jamar is. It's not like it's 3 T. Higgins. The gap between Jamar and T is still pretty wide. And I think that's what we're missing here is, like, there is going to be an effect of him not being out on that field. We just won't know until tonight. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, hoo-day, and go buy a bag of candy and pass it out, you terrible person.
Oh, my gosh. I'm a terrible person. For just joining us, is there anyone else out there that does not hand out candy on Halloween?
Just you and Doug.
Just me and Doug. Shout out to Doug. Cool Doug. My gosh. Ron Broadstock said, damn, I even told my kids you're super busy when he asked if he can get your signature. Who wants my autograph? Anyway,
not giving that out either.
I'm not giving that out either. You kids can go sell it on the eBay and make my money off my signature. Yeah, right. Lamar Shelley says the Browns don't have Denzel Ward either. But I mean, to be fair, it's too bad that Denzel Ward's not playing tonight. I think that behind Jamar Chase, I think he completed a lot of passes to Denzel Ward last year. Put T. Higgins against the next man up. I'll take that any day of the week. That's fine, Lamar. You do you. You do you. Anyways, Michael McKnight said, "Who's going to get to tweet? That's why you draft a kicker tonight." I think it's going to come down to who has the ball last. That's what's crazy. All right, Kev, who we got?
We got Brian in Centerville.
Brian in Centerville. You are up, sir. How are you?
Hey, guys. So I'm kind of new to the show, but I've heard all week
Welcome.
that,
Probably not a good first impression. I hope you're doing okay.
Well, you lost me when you said the Packers were going to beat the Bills. I thought that was laughable.
It's an upset. That's what you do. You pick a team that's not supposed to win to win.
Yeah, okay. What I don't understand is there shouldn't be any fear, I don't think, at all. If you're from the Bengals' perspective going against the Browns, their defense is soft. They don't make plays. This defense is the Browns defense is overhyped every year. You can push them around. Atlanta proved that. The Jets proved that. You can score on them. So if you're the Bengals, run your normal offense. Yes, I agree. Chase will keep it a little bit out of reach for you. But here's the other thing. The Browns run the ball all the time. And when you run the ball all the time, inherently, you are going to play closer games. So the Browns want to win 1984 football where you line up and run over people all the time. That's not going to work against higher caliber quarterbacks and teams. Just not.
No, and look, and I get that, but at the same time, I know, but people are talking about what the Bengals should do as if they are just an unstoppable machine. And outside of 2 games this year, they've been a very average and a very stoppable machine. It's not like this team is not good and consistent enough for us to just say, well, just go run your normal offense against them. They've been too inconsistent for us to say that, though.
But they're not competing against a team that can score or stop anybody. The Browns are not.
But yet they're 4-3. But they've lost to 3 bad teams that are worse than the Browns, and the Browns are not that bad. They're not very good. I agree. All right, they're not playing very good football, but they are actually better than the teams that they've already proven that they've lost to already. So I'm not like this isn't a Bengals team that deserves the benefit of the doubt by any means.
But based on what though? I mean, week 1,
4-3.
they barely squeaked by Carolina.
Okay.
Congratulations. And then what other good wins
I don't
they
need
have?
a congratulations. I'm not bragging about anything with
right
this
at the
Browns
bottom.
team. But you're making this too much about the Browns and not the average that the Bengals have been this year with all the weapons they've had.
Yeah, I agree. They have been, yes, their offensive line was supposed to be better, and and Mixon seems to have lost a gear. Still, the style of play, the Browns can hope to win 17-14, and it's a tight margin way. And if if it doesn't go that way specifically, they don't win.
Yeah, but you're making it
They
sound
don't
like
win
the Bengals average 0.7 more points per game than the Cleveland Browns do this year.
Yeah, but they got a better quarterback. They have a higher gear. They have shown that.
Is that gear 0.7 points per game?
Yeah, they struggled out of the gate for sure. They struggled out of the gate.
I mean,
not a
Jacoby
big
Brissett threw for
Bengals
more yards
advocate.
against the Ravens than Joe Burrow did.
Yeah.
Listen, I say all that to acknowledge that, yes, you are right. I'm not a big fan of my Browns defense at all. They're middle of the pack.
The Browns are getting to the point with Stefanski. Stefanski's off of the old Vikings tree, the Rick Dennison.
Yep.
He's part of that tree, and it's all run heavy, and it's 1980 football.
To
And
be fair,
I
his
just think
quarterbacks
Stefanski's getting to the point.
His quarterbacks, technically, they have been Baker Mayfield and Jacoby Brissett. Everything you are saying, I will acknowledge, but I'm going to wait till Deshaun Watson's here. If this is the same stunt that we're pulling a year from now with Deshaun Watson, like 2-5 right now, I'm not happy with it, but 2-5 with Deshaun Watson is a lot different than 2-5 with Jacoby Brissett. So it's not an excuse, but I'm just saying
you just don't want to hear. You just don't want to hear, like, when Deshaun Watson comes. You don't want to hear about how we got to get the run game going with Kareem Hunt and Chubb all game. You got to be able to open it up and pass the ball.
I think they can run the ball at the same pace that they've done this season and still be better and more efficient in the pass game. Absolutely. Like that, that I want it to be an identity crisis of, oh my gosh, do we pass or run? You know what I mean? Like last year for the Bengals, do we run or do we pass? That's a good problem to have because that means you're so confident in both. That's a good problem to have. Right now, the Browns, I don't know how they have so much confidence in their pass game because it scares the hell out of me. They need to rely on the run more, as crazy as that sounds. But hey, I appreciate that you called. You were a good caller. Thank you for that. And I appreciate that you listened to the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
All right. 518-1410, 518-1410. What do you want, Ron? Ron.
Hey, man.
What? You're live. What are you doing?
Fucking slut.
Oh my gosh. What the heck is he doing? We're done with the phones. We're done with the phones. My gosh. He's wow.
Ron.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The mid-afternoon and early evening will be cloudy with a chance of rain, a high near 68. Tonight's going to be cloudy with rain, a low near 55. And tomorrow's going to be mostly cloudy, a high near 68. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Get ready, Ohio. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, is coming to the Buckeye State. Justin Kinner with 1410 ESPN Radio. To kick things off, you can get started with $100 in free bets as an early sign-up bonus. Plus, when you sign up today with my promo code Kinner, you'll be all set for when FanDuel goes live in Ohio. Then you can bet on all of your favorite teams and all of your favorite sports with $100 in free bets. Just download FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. It's safe, it's secure, and it's super easy to use. Dayton, this is your chance to get in on the action. Join today with my promo code KINNER, KINNER. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and older and present in Ohio. Bonus issued in non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager in Ohio starting January 1st of 2023. Unique user identity verification required. Offer ends on the go-live date. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, guys. This is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that AutoTrader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with AutoTrader, a dealer can deliver cars to my home or that I could shop by price on AutoTrader. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. AutoTrader.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuits seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-509-6681. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-509-6681. That's 800-509-6681. Again, 800-509-6681.
Do you enjoy sports betting and fantasy sports? If so, it's important to know that gambling's not a way to pay bills or earn income. Learn how to set limits and recognize the warning signs for problem gambling by visiting beforeyoubet.org. You can also assess your risk by taking the responsible gambling quiz. Beforeyoubet.org provides free resources to help keep gambling safe and fun for Ohioans. Be a fan with a plan this season and go to beforeyoubet.org to learn more.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
Dr. Travis Stork here to tell you about a great pain reliever called Salon Pas Pain Relieving Patches. Salon Pas is pain medicine in a patch. You stick it right on sore muscles for up to 8 hours. Clinical research has shown that people that used Salon Pas reported less pain with improvement in mood, sleep, and the ability to work. Safe, effective relief is one peel and place away. Salonpas, it's good medicine.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Justin Kinner back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Get ready, Ohio. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming to the Buckeyes state. And to kick things off, you can get started with $100 in free bets as an early sign-up bonus. Plus, when you sign up today, use my promo code Kinner, Kinner. Then you will be all set for when FanDuel goes live in Ohio. Then you can bet on all of your favorite teams and all of your favorite sports with $100 in free bets. I think that's pretty cool. All you got to do is download the app. When you register, you use my promo code Kinner, my last name, Kinner, and then you're going to have $100 in free bets waiting for you in your account when sports betting goes live here in the state of Ohio. Just download FanDuel's top-rated sportsbook app. It is safe, it is secure, and it is super easy to use. Come on, Dayton, this is your chance to get in on the action. Use my promo code Kinner when registering your account today, Kinner. Have $100 in free bets waiting for you. Come on, it's a heck of a deal. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. All right, let's see. We got this. Let's try this Ryan Day attire thing. It's all I got.
What up, Coach?
This is all I got. It's Ryan Day.
Big victory on Saturday.
Big?
Yeah.
It's big victory. So here's the thing about Ohio State that fascinates me is we get to this point where, and again, Ohio State wins big over the weekend over Penn State. And we're at the point now where, with Ohio State, we've become so used to their boring schedule where outside of maybe one non-conference opponent a year and the Michigan game, we really don't get entertained by the Buckeyes. Like, let's just be real. Me and you have had this conversation many, many times that Ohio State, that we like, how much of a fan you have to be a fan of a team that plays in zero interesting games. Like, that's what it is to be a Buckeye fan. They don't play in they play in 1 to 2 interesting games a year if we're lucky. And when we do see them play an interesting game, because we're so accustomed and conditioned to seeing them dominate their opponent, what I'm trying to make sure that I'm not doing is mistaking resistance for non-efficient play. So when I watch Ohio State dominate the Rutgers of the world and the bad teams of the North, or obviously Iowa's and teams like, well, not really Iowa's defense, like when they play those bad teams, the Toledos of the world and stuff like that, like we become accustomed to watching them overwhelm opponents. So then when they don't overwhelm an opponent, what we do is say, they're not playing well. And that's the habit I have to make sure I'm not falling for. Ohio State, I did not think looked very good against Penn State this past weekend, or at least look like a dominating team. Now, they still put 44 points up that fourth quarter. That was the overwhelming factor that separated them from Penn State. But, their defense gave up 31 against an offense they had no business giving up 31 points against. This really isn't so much about the offense. It is more about the defense. I've said before, the defense, I don't think we're ever going to get a true indication of who they are until they go up against better caliber teams. Penn State's not the elite of the elite, but it's still the best opponent that they faced up to this point. And I think that they are a good precursor to what to expect against Michigan. Michigan is very similar to Penn State. They're going to run the hell out of the ball, but Penn State, I think, is, their quarterback had the build to be this guy that should make plays in the air. He doesn't, but he did throw for 3 touchdowns and 374 yards on this defense too. Like, I don't know what to make of Ohio State at this point, because they did what they were supposed to offensively, but I was very underwhelmed defensively. Kevin, am I falling into that trap of, they didn't overwhelm an opponent, so I'm thinking they played poorly? Or is this hey, they faced some resistance for once, and this is who they are? Where does that line fall for you?
For me, they were down in the fourth quarter, and I talk about playmakers. I don't necessarily talk about like, oh man, You're not going to see the 2000 Ravens defense. You're not going to see the 85 Chicago Bears. Like, I think those days are far gone from football. I mean, last year's Georgia defense obviously was super elite. I mean, they had like 7 guys drafted off that defense. Obviously, this Ohio State defense doesn't have that. So what I look for is playmakers and guys making plays. And JT Tuimoloau made plays. He had 2 interceptions, a pick 6. The defensive lineman having a pick 6 caused havoc, had a forced fumble out there. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for game records. And it looks like JT Tuimoloau had his coming out party versus Penn State, kind of like how Chase Young had his, how Joey Bosa had his moment against Penn State.
He tackled 2 guys. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, 2 guys. Crazy. So JT Tuimoloau had a heck of a game. He was a game record, and that's what you're going to need, because I don't think the Ohio State defense is going to be out here pitching shutouts. I don't think it's going to be, quote unquote, the silver bullets days of, Bobby Carpenter and those guys. But if you got guys that's going to make plays and get the ball back to your offense, and that's what he was able to do. He was able to cause havoc and get the ball back to the offense. And the offense was not clicking until that fourth quarter. And when they did click, they went up tempo. And that's when you had big plays in the passing game as well as the running game. The running game was not there at all versus Iowa. And for the most part of this game, it wasn't there. And when they went up tempo, that's when you were able to get Travion Henderson popping that 40-yard run. So with all that being said, these last 2 weeks, everybody and their mom said, man, they look so sluggish in that Iowa game. People talked about, oh, man, they're coming out of a bye week, whatever. They still look sluggish, but they won by what? 44 points or something like that.
Last week.
Yeah, last week. And then this game, I can definitely have my hands raised. It's like, oh man, what's going on here? What's going on here? And then they almost covered until Penn State got that last second touchdown. So I think the performance was pretty good, especially considering all things. They were on the road. Obviously, this do or die for Penn State, and they still were able to get the dub by double digits.
I'm very concerned about the defense because, like I said, you gave up 371 yards in the air against Penn State, and if we're going to be critical of teams like Alabama and Tennessee, who gave up 50, we can't highlight any team that gives up 50. I think giving up 50 to Bryce Young or giving up 50 to Hendon Hooker is a lot more forgivable than giving up 31 to Penn State's. That I'm just being more critical because there's not many opportunities to become critical. Like, we're going to fall into that trap. They're going to come, they got Northwestern. They're going to put up 50 something. They're going to give up 13, 16 points. We're going to think everything's back to normal. And then we're going to be falsely mistaken. I knew this defense was not as improved as what everyone said that they were. Like, that's the stuff that they lost.
What did you expect then?
I still expected it not to give up 31 to Penn State. I was not expecting it, like, as happy as I am that they still put up 44, even with only running the ball for 98 total yards on the day. I don't think that that's bad at all. See, especially since you run for under 100 yards and your quarterback only throws for 1 touchdown. That's kind of alarming, but that's where Ohio State is. The fact that, I'm glad, and everyone keeps talking about the fact that they're, JTT made all those plays and all that stuff. Yeah, he's going to be a hellraiser. He's going to make a lot of plays. I get that. But at the same time, think of the opportunities that presented themselves. That was just Sean Clifford being Sean Clifford as well. Sean Clifford has proven to be a very sporadic quarterback that we know he can make plays at times, but also he could throw a game wide open as far as to the other team. And that's what he did. I don't know. I just don't feel like Ohio State's as crisp as what everyone thinks that they are. They're still the face of the Big Ten. I still think they take care of business against Michigan, although Penn State has me circling Michigan a little bit more now. I think that Michigan is a more polished Penn State, and Ohio State had everything thrown at them. Now, luckily, Ohio State has Michigan at home, so there's that. I don't think Ohio State is as balanced as what we think that they are. That's the concern I have, because they could be balanced enough to win the Big Ten. That's cool. But if Sean Clifford did that, what happens if you run into Hendon Hooker come playoff time? What happens if you run into Bryce Young? If Alabama gets back into the fold, which we anticipate that to be the case. That's all. I know they added that point late in the fourth to kind of give it the indication, but still, it was one of those where I'm looking at Sean Clifford, 371 yards in the air. If that's where teams could beat Ohio State, you're not going to get beat by that in the Big Ten. but you will get beat by that against Tennessee and some of the teams that have real quarterbacks. That's my concern. Being negative, I know, but but like we don't get chances to see them go up against teams like this to highlight some of their deficiencies. I think we fall for a lot of false, activity when we see them play bad team after bad team after bad team.
Yeah, I feel where you're coming from. I just know there's definitely been a shift in where people view college football, because when Baker Mayfield was dominating the Big 12 and they were in these shootouts like 45-55, people scream, there's no defense. And then when Alabama and Tennessee are involved in that classic game from 2 weeks ago, people, this is awesome. This is great. So I notice a shift in that, and people are okay with these teams scoring 50 and 60 points, but they weren't okay with teams from the Big 12 scoring that amount of points. I notice a shift in people's rhetoric and people's dialogue about what is and what isn't football nowadays. As far as Ohio State is concerned with Penn State, Clifford, he is boom or bust, and you got both from him in this game. You got the boom and you got the bust from him in this performance. I'm gonna say Ohio State definitely has a ton to work on, and especially the offensive line. Look, man, you got to be able to run the ball. You still got to be able to run the ball. And in situations where people are talking about like, oh, man, Mayan Williams is our short yardage back. Look, man, this is Ohio State. Your starter and your backup need to be your short yardage back. Both players need to be able to bust wide runs and not just be dependent on one guy. There's a lot of talent on that team, but the offensive line, especially the guard spots, are not playing up to snuff.
Yeah, the other thing to keep in mind, I don't know, when's the last time Ohio State went back-to-back games without a 100-yard rusher? Like, it's one thing to do. Doing it against Iowa, I was like, okay, that's Iowa. That is a very physical, hard-nosed defense. But you're seeing Ohio State, you talked about the toughness of them last year, and they haven't faced a tough team. That Notre Dame game, Notre Dame's not a very good football team, but they're still better than what Ohio State has faced most of the season. We're noticing any kind of team that does have any kind of physical presence, it does thump them a bit. Doesn't mean it knocks them out, but it does stifle them a bit. Notre Dame did. You only won by 11 against Notre Dame. You put 21 up against Notre Dame. You play them now. I think Ohio State's a lot more polished now that they probably rout Notre Dame. But I do think that Notre Dame, Iowa, Penn State, I don't think it's a surprise that all of those games is where we saw a little resistance with the run game. And, of course, even in the pass game a little bit as far as not dominating through the air. To your point earlier about the rhetoric changing with accepting it, I think the rhetoric's changed a little bit too, because I think it's the fact that we know there's NFL guys on the defenses of Tennessee and Alabama, where that wasn't the case in the Big 12. And it's also the guys doing it too. Like Alabama doing it isn't surprising anybody. And plus you don't see that every single week. I don't know if Tennessee and Alabama play again. If they run into each other come playoff time or the SEC again, I don't think it's a shootout again. I don't think it's a game in the 50s again. I don't know.
If Tennessee plan on winning, they better make it sure it's a shootout.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But no, I'm more concerned. And people are like, so for instance, on Facebook, Ron Broadstock says any respectable opponent is putting up these offensive numbers against all the powerhouses. That's the thing. I don't think that Penn State's a respectable opponent in regards to how their offense is set up. I mean, they put up 350 plus yards. He threw for more yards than CJ Stroud did, and he connected with 3 of Ohio State's defenders. He completed 3 passes to Ohio State's defense and still outthrew and threw more touchdowns than CJ Stroud. That's a concern to me. He's not better than CJ Stroud. I'm not saying that anything is better than Stroud or this Buckeye offense, but I don't put Penn State in the category of offenses that I'm willing to forgive the defense for giving up. I don't think you could stop Bryce Young and Hendon Hooker. You could stop what we just saw from Penn State, and they didn't. That's a concern. Now, it's a noon kick on the road at Penn State, tough place to play. I'm not going to put too much into it. I do think that wasn't their best performance, but it was their biggest win. You know what I mean? It wasn't the best performance. It was the biggest win. We'll see what happens. I don't think they're 1 or 2 come tomorrow night. I don't think that win helped him. And as weird as that sounds, I don't think that helped him. I know some will say it helped him. I don't think it helped him. I think if anything, Tennessee's most likely won. I think TCU's quietly getting a lot more love now, which is kind of strange. But we'll see what happens there. But I could see Tennessee, Georgia. I don't think Ohio State's 2 or 1. I think they're 3 or 4 when it comes out tomorrow.
I think they'll be 3. I think Tennessee should be 1.
Agreed.
Georgia should be 2. Buckeyes 3.
And then TCU, Michigan at that 4. But
I don't know. It's a scramble for the number 4 spot because you just talked about with TCU, Michigan, Clemson still in the mix for me. So it's like a scramble of those teams or whatever order you want to put. And then I guess that'd be 4, 5, 6. So then put probably Bama at 7, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow. ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz will be on with us tomorrow, so we could jump back into that. But all right, it's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Kev is fine. It's the Buckeyes' biggest win. I just don't think that was their best performance. And I think that because of that could impact them heading into the polls. I think that if they put 45 up and they only give up 10 to 17 points in that range, I think we're making an argument for Ohio State at number 2 at this point, even number 1. I don't think they're 1 or 2 come tomorrow. 518-1410, reaction to the Buckeyes win over Penn State. Again, am I falling for there's resistance against a good team finally? Or because I'm so used to seeing them dominate. Are the Buckeyes playing their best football right now? I don't think that they are. Back-to-back games without giving up 100 yards, giving up 31 to Penn State, giving up 350 yards in the air against Sean Clifford. 518-1410. We'll be right back.
Chronic joint pain has a snowball effect. It's not just the pain.
What that did is just make me depressed that I couldn't get back into the gym, and I was inactive, gaining weight. I had to find another alternative.
And for Chad, that alternative was QC Kinetics and the non-surgical natural biologic treatments that can give lasting relief to aching hips, shoulders, knees, and backs.
Once they explained it, it made sense. Putting what we have inside our body back into us in a certain strategic way to heal up in a natural process was fantastic.
QC Kinetics treatments take place right in the office. No downtime, no surgery. And as for the outcome,
I'm just back to bouncing around, having fun, doing my work, living pain-free.
Don't let chronic joint pain rob you of your quality of life. Discover advanced regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. Call now to learn more. It's a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Jamie's log. Progressive. The Harrington's backyard. Day 27. 3:33 a.m. 333. All those threes mean something. Or I may be losing it. Been camped in the Harrington's backyard for 27 days now, proving that Progressive has 24/7 protection. They told me every day they understand what 24/7 protection means. Think I'm finally getting through to them. 333.
Progressive doesn't just offer a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, just not literally from Jamie. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
Rob tried to manage his constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating day after day. After realizing it was irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, he found another way and finally said yes to adding Linzess.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Ew. Stuck in a cycle of rewashing your clothes?
Because you can't remove tough laundry odor? When detergent by itself can't cut it, use new Downy Rinse and Refresh. With a breakthrough odor-removing formula, it removes odors in 1 wash, better than the leading value detergent in 3 washes, keeping all your laundry fresh. Now you can break the cycle of rewashing with Downy Rinse and Refresh.
O'Reilly. Don't miss See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on wiper blades, headlight bulbs, and more. Right now, get up to a $20 gift card after mailing rebate with the purchase of select Sylvania bulbs. Plus, get double O Rewards points with your purchase. Prepare for the weather ahead during See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Make sure your home's heating and cooling system is in shape for the season with the experts and community trusted service that you can rely on. From William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning, we're offering exclusive savings opportunities on the new Lennox system. Call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning at 937-222-8638 today or visit us online at DaytonHeatingandCooling.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Ohio license number 14911.
Hey, Buckeye fans, as the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes, Roosters is giving away 12 trips for 2 to this year's Buckeye Bowl game. Each trip comes complete with airfare, hotel, gift bag, and 2 tickets to the big game. 1 bowl prize winner chosen each week, along with other cool Roosters weekly prizes. So register every week at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Official contest rules at roosterswings.com.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At McAfee, they're more than just an air temperature company. They're an air quality company. Breathe easy. Choose McAfee.
Ew. Stuck in a cycle of rewashing your clothes? Because you can't remove tough laundry odor? When detergent by itself can't cut it, use new Downy Rinse and Refresh. With a breakthrough odor-removing formula, it removes odors in 1 wash, better than the leading value detergent in 3 washes, keeping all your laundry fresh. Now you can break the cycle of rewashing with Downy Rinse and Refresh.
O'Reilly.
Don't miss See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts with great deals on wiper blades, headlight bulbs, and more. Right now, get up to a $20 gift card after mailing rebate with the purchase of select Sylvania bulbs. Plus, get double O Rewards points with your purchase. Prepare for the weather ahead during See Better, Drive Safer month at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner and Kevin Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We only have a couple minutes remaining as, of course, the Buckeye Roundtable coming up next. All right, Kev, it's here. The Browns, the Bengals, Monday Night Football. The last I checked, let me see. I don't believe there's been any updates as far as any other players out. No Denzel Ward, obviously no Jamar Chase. All the shock and awe of the names that won't be involved tonight is kind of, we've already had that. It's just Browns versus Bengals. Who you got tonight? Bengals a 3-point favorite on the road against the Cleveland Browns. They won't have Jamar Chase. It's a big one tonight because Cleveland desperately needs this or their season's done, and the Bengals, they need it for confidence to show that, hey, when they say we're fine without Jamar Chase, well, go prove it. It's a very big opportunity for them tonight as well.
27-17 Cincinnati Bengals.
27. The Browns are averaging 24 a game. You're going to go with 17?
Okay, Justin. 55-10 Browns.
No, you can say whatever you want. I'm just throwing
Apparently
out there.
not.
I'm just curious. No, I'm just curious.
Apparently I can't.
Where'd you get the 17 from? That's all. I'm just curious.
That's what I think is going to happen.
All right, 175-0. Browns over the no. I got the Browns tonight over the Bengals. Season's on the line. Look, they came out last week and showed what a desperate team can do. Came this close on the road against Baltimore. I think they can have that same energy tonight. Halloween, Monday Night Football. The Bengals in town. They always play well against the Bengals. Joe Burrow has yet to prove he could beat the Browns. I know sometimes those become storylines. I don't think there's anything to that. I just think it's just the way the cards have been dealt. But at the same time, I think that the situation that the Browns are in, they're going to come out and play desperate. And I think that good things are going to happen for the Browns tonight. I don't think it's an indictment on who the Bengals are for the rest of the season if they lose tonight. But I also can't wait to be proven right that, hey, not having Jamar Chase is actually a big deal. Browns win tonight. I'm going to say 31-27 Browns over the Bengals in a good one at that. So what's funny is the Browns and Bengals, the Browns have the 6th most efficient offense in the NFL. They average 0.7 points per game less than the Bengals, but everyone acts like the Bengals are an offensive juggernaut. I just don't. They're not an offensive juggernaut without Jamar Chase. It's going to be a good one tonight. It's going to be a good one.
Get your popcorn ready.
4-4. Quattro and Quattro.
Look at you.
Defending AFC champions. Shout out to Ken Anderson, Bengals MVP quarterback. Took time and hopped on with us. I think maybe for the last time. I don't know. That's up to him. But he did say he would come back on tomorrow if the Browns win. It's part of our bet. And if the Bengals win, I have to call and give him a who day. So we'll see what happens. Have a good night, everybody. Buckeye Roundtable next.
WYNG 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
2000, 2008, 2022. When it comes to the economy, those are some scary years. .com crash, housing crash,